Đợi xí để mình đi setting cái con ấy đã. Vô nè. Mình đang tính đi qua đây nè, đi qua chỗ này để đi đánh cái đi qua chỗ này để đi đánh cái
Take it easy.
đây, tao xíu đây mà xíu. Cái thang máy nè. Có thang máy ở đây. Ok. Hello, bạn vô chưa? Đấy, mình đang bị ghét một cái là mình muốn thiết lập cái hình ảnh nó là borderless đó, nó là không để mình có thể tab ra ngoài mà không bị đứng màn hình đó.
I got a new letter from an informant. Looks like the situation has changed again.
Ồ, có tầng 2. Nhiều tầng thế. Rồi, mình đã nằm tầng 2 rồi. Nơi cao rồi, nằm ở tầng 2 rồi. Bây giờ khu này là ở đâu ta? Mình coi nữa. Đấy thì nó nằm ở khu dựa này luôn à. Rồi,
Take it easy.
để chạy vào đây. Ra mở cửa ra. Rồi đi lên vô lại thang máy. Nó ngoằn ngoèo quá nhờ. Có 4 tầng, tầng 2, tầng 3, tầng 4. Tầng 4 là cao nhất. Đây tầng 2 hả? Sử dụng để đến đảo Erimet hả? Đọc từ này sao trời? À rồi đến phải luôn. Không phải luôn. Vậy là tầng 3. Ủa từ từ, mình là tầng 3 mình đi xuống mà ta. Ta.
Take it easy.
Khó quá nha. À, sử dụng cái tàu. À, đến đây. Ok. Ủa làm sao để đi tàu? Là lên tàu thôi hả? Có cái gì khác không? Xuất phát ngay đây. Phát. Ồ. Ok. Má, có mấy cái điện di chuyển đó nha, phải lấy nè. Địa chỉ chỗ này, chỗ này, chỗ này, chỗ này.
Welcome to the Navia line. I am Elfan. The boat will be departing imminently. Please do not stick your head,
Buông lòng không thò đầu,
hands,
tay.
or other body parts outside the boat. The Aquabus operator is not responsible for any accidents or injuries resulting from doing so. Also, please remember to buy the Steambird, though I don't read it myself.
Mua báo mà mặc dù bản thân không xem mà.
The destination of the current tour is Erinias. Points of interest worth visiting include the Fountain of Lucine and the Opera Epiclese. If you look to the left in the direction we are currently traveling, famous Fontaine Research Institute up in the sky. An experiment gone wrong turned new sightseeing opportunity. Human ingenuity truly is a wondrous thing.
Sao cái khúc của bên kia nó... Cái bên cái khúc bên này nè. Sao nhìn nó... Nhìn nó cứ xấu xấu nào ta. Bên nó mở map chưa được chưa đó. À, bên đó chưa mở map. Cho mình thấy thôi chứ chưa có được qua.
We are now approaching our final destination. Please be sure to bring all your personal belongings with you as you disembark. Even though I will take any forgotten items to the lost and found, the paperwork is rather annoying as mouths and hands are not suitable for grasping pens. Please be careful when disembarking. It has been my honor to be your tour guide this trip. Thank you.
Má, ở đây cứ như kiểu đang đi tàu mà... Tàu luxury á. Có cả hướng dẫn viên các kiểu. Ok. Bây giờ mình sẽ đi đến đây. À, nó cho mình đi nè, đi một số nơi nhất định nè. Sẽ có cái sự kiện. Yeah. Cái sự kiện mà giống như hồi xưa ở bên Sumeru là sẽ cho mình đi đi làm những cái mà cơ bản của thủy quốc nè, để mình hiểu được game nè trước khi ok. Vương miện là nguyên tố hỏa, có thể khiến nó tấn công nguyên tố mạnh liệt hơn và có sức phòng ngự hơn nếu sử dụng phản ứng nguyên tố vào thời cơ thích hợp để phá hủy lá chắn của nguyên tố của nó. Ồ, là phá hủy cái đánh con cua này nè. Cái này như con boss đột phá nè. Ok. Ồ, có 6 cục là làm được hết trong một ngày luôn á. Cái này là không mấy nè, không giới hạn luôn. Cái này không giới hạn luôn, đánh luôn được nè. Đánh bại quả báo của con, đánh bại Pika của con. Ồ, cái này là có 2 con boss khác nhau hả? Là cùng một chỗ nhưng mà 2 con boss hả? Ok, cứ từ từ đi ha. Từ đi hơi nhiều á.
Take it easy.
mỗi lần mà mình đã để full màn hình nè, mình mà tap ra để mình coi được cái coi được mấy cái bản đồ á thì mình sẽ bị nó sẽ bị đứng ở trong game và mình không muốn nó tap xuống, nó rất là khó chịu. Ồ, làm khảo sát được 50 nguyên thạch nè. Tí làm tí nữa đây. Bây giờ mình sẽ phải đánh dấu rồi mình lấy cái gì đó tap vào nó sẽ đứng ra một xíu. Ồ, đẹp quá thiệt. Chơi 2K chắc đẹp nữa nha. Có rương rồi nè, có nên lấy luôn không ta?
Take it easy.
Ồ, cái cục gì đấy? Mục đích thiết kế ban đầu của loại hành tinh thể đặc biệt này là cảm nhận mức độ ẩm ướt xung quanh. Nhưng cuối cùng thì nó chỉ có thể cảm nhận được mức độ ẩm ướt của bản thân và khi phản ứng. Khi liên tục thi chuyển nguyên tố thủy vào nó chắc chắn sẽ có chuyện gì hay ho. À, thi chuyển nguyên tố thủy đúng không? Có gì? Có gì? Có cái gì?
Mind the side effects.
Khó nha.
A chest full of valuables and a trove of...
Mình coi thử cái này giải đố cái gì vậy ta? Cái này biểu tượng giải đố là gì vậy ta?
Potential clues.
Chị quá. Không có luôn, điểm bên cạnh chưa cập nhật luôn. So fucking hell. Đó là lý do vì sao mà mình không thích chạy map vào những ngày đầu tiên của game. Nó rất là phiền. Bởi vì là khi mà vào game như vậy thì nó sẽ không có đủ. Coi sau cái điểm di chuyển không có luôn, mình giấu lại thôi. Mình cứ enjoy có chuyện đi. Enjoy có chuyện đi.
Now this is
Chạy
fancy.
map rồi nào, chạy
The
sao?
opera epiclese.
Đẹp quá nhờ.
What a place to hold a performance. No wonder Linny and Lynette were looking forward to it. Huh. Looks like there's a lot of people standing around the fountain up ahead.
Oh, Archon, please bless us with a bright and healthy child. We pray.
I don't know why you always feel the need to ask so
Em
much.
chỉ mong nghĩ là
I'll be happy as long as our child is healthy and lives a peaceful
cặp vợ
life.
chồng là đang có cần mong có con.
I guess if they're our kid, then there's no doubt they'll turn out smart.
Maybe this is one of the customs in Fontaine. There sure are a lot of couples here.
Vache.
Cái gì vậy Vache?
What's wrong?
Vache. Vache.
Gì vậy? Lại giống như Sumeru đó.
No, Paimon didn't say anything.
Lại nghe tiếng déjà
Are
vu
you
rồi.
hearing things?
Welcome to the Fountain of Lucine. All the water flowing through Fontaine converges here. It's customary for newlyweds to come here and wish for children.
Oh, Lynette, you scared Paimon. When did you get here?
Lenny asked me to wait here for you, remember?
Right.
Như tôi nghe tháng rồi.
What do you mean? There are a lot of people here right now.
Hey, you're not trying to scare Paimon, are you? Besides, it's the middle of the day. It's not the time for eerie things.
I see. I might be able to tell you something that could help explain the voice you heard.
Tôi có thông tin có thể
In
chia sẻ cho
fact,
cô kìa.
You might not be imagining things at all. I suspect that what you heard is a result of your hypersensitivity to the hydro element. Others in my family have had similar experiences.
It's because of her sensitivity to the hydro element? But what would hearing a voice have to do with elemental power?
When do you cry, Paimon?
Wait, what?
Há đù.
What does that
Hỏi
have to
hay
do
nha.
with
Khi
anything?
nào mà Paimon mới khóc nhờ?
Just answer me.
Nhưng mà chưa bao giờ.
When Paimon's really sad? Oh, and when Paimon's super happy. Oh, and also when Paimon's really, really scared.
Lúc vui mừng, sợ hãi tột độ sẽ là
Then
đúng
you
không?
should understand that tears contain your most intense emotions.
Nước mắt chứa lại cảm xúc mãnh liệt.
Like I just mentioned, the Fountain of Lucine is where all the flowing water in
Đá phun
Fontaine
nước là điểm giao
converges.
nhau của tất cả các dòng nước ở
Even the
Fontaine.
tears that fall to the ground will eventually gather here.
Những giọt nước mắt rơi trên đất cũng sẽ hội tụ tại đây. Nghe hay thế.
So maybe what you heard was the intense emotion coming from someone's tears.
So, what did the voice say? If you are hearing their emotions, then Paimon wonders what happened to them.
Rather than worrying about them, we should worry about my brother first. Don't let that calm look of his fool you. He tends to get pretty nervous just before a performance. So chatting with Lenny might help him relax a little before he goes on stage.
Oh, right. That makes sense. Let's go in and see Lenny.
Đây, người Fontaine cũng tâm linh lắm nha. Người ta cũng thả xu vào đây nhiều lắm á. Hiến tế đài phun nước. Hiến tế đài phun nước à. Vậy là giống như một cái cây. Nó giống như cái cây nấm ở bên ấy. Đúng không? Đúng luôn. Đúng rồi. Nó giống như ấy thôi. Giống như ấy thôi. Làm nhiệm vụ hay đánh quái đấy. Ê, đánh quái cho ta xài nhựa cái. Đánh quái đi. Nào một con boss. Mình đã có con nhân vật mới rồi. Con nhân vật này mới vô game làจะđược nhận luôn nha. Con nhân vật này là mới, không cần phải như con cô Lay là phải làm nhiệm vụ mới nhận được, thì nó vô là nhận được luôn. Và mình có roll 20 lần thì mình được 2 con luôn. 012 cũng khá là ok. Một build luôn thôi. Vậy là con boss đột phá này nó sẽ có 2 nguyên liệu khác nhau. Nguyên liệu là màu tím nè. Vậy là chắc nguyên liệu nhà lữ hành là sẽ là màu xanh nè. Con boss đột phá chứ chưa boss tuần đâu.
Take it easy.
Ở đây có một thằng thằng này nói chuyện đó coi. Bosuet là hai robot dây cót chuyên khiêu vũ, nhưng sau khi tiếp cận nhận dự án này tôi đã thêm vào một số hiểu biết của mình. Thì đấy, không chỉ khiêu vũ giỏi mà khoản chiến đấu cũng không hề kém cạnh. Có điều tôi cảm thấy vẫn còn nhiều không gian để phát triển. Để năng lực chiến đấu thì phải cần thêm một số lượng lớn. Vậy nó sẽ muốn mình thử nghiệm. Trong quá trình phát triển lỡ hăng hái quá, tôi đã chế tạo ra hai kiểu khiêu chiến cho dựa vào Phenuma và Ocean. Cái này là gì ta? Phenuma Ocean không biết. Lần lượt là bài ca của Nintendo niềm vui thì tất cả nhờ vào những người mạnh mẽ tới khiêu chiến rồi. Ok. Mình đang khiêu chiến cái gì đấy nhờ? Quả báo à hay là cái gì ta? Từ từ để coi lại cái. Nó không có ai cần. Mình đang cần cái gì nhờ? Để mình phân biệt cái coi. Coppelia, ok. Liên khúc gió băng. Coppelia. Nó nói lại luôn nè, đủ. Mình chỉ muốn cần nó. Ok. Coppelia, cái đầu. Vậy là mỗi lần đánh nhau là phải nói chuyện với nó hả? Để xem, từ từ mình để xem boss nó đánh sao. Đẹp quá. Băng, nguyên tố băng. Đẹp quá. Rồi sao nữa? Đánh thường cái con. Đẹp quá nhờ. Ê, để thật sự á, hai con nó kiểu zoom vào được không? Không zoom vào được. Có anti gì không? Có gì anti gì không? Hay là phải đánh ta? Một con băng, một con phong. Wow. Đứa cái là băng, đứa cái là phong nha. Đứa trai là băng.
A bitter pill to swallow. Remember, help comes.
Game's up. Fun's over. Quietly now.
I see everything. The Temple of Wisdom.
Đẹp á. Nước xung quanh. Má đúng kiểu khiêu vũ luôn bay. Má hay là cầm đi lâu mà không nhiều được test vậy á. Con điện thoại nó không bật.
Everyone hold hands. Sharing my knowledge.
Không biết độ khó. Đẹp, boss đẹp. Đúng ta. Đúng rồi, 1 tiếng này, 3 luôn rồi. Khá là đẹp. Tím. Coppelia, cái này là Coppelius, là Coppelia là nữ à. Đúng ta. Wow, khá là đẹp á. Vậy là mỗi lần mà muốn đánh là phải nói chuyện với thằng đấy. Nói chuyện với thằng đấy để đánh cho nó đúng. Ok.
Take it easy.
Nhớ map kìa. What the fuck, con gì đấy? Chó hả?
Traveler and Paimon, good to see you. I knew you two would come.
Are you kidding? We wouldn't miss it for the world. We've been looking forward to it.
I can tell, judging by how early you've arrived. But you're actually right on time. The audience still hasn't started entering the venue yet, which means now is the perfect chance for us to take you to the best seats in the house. Wait just a moment, I'll fetch the tickets.
Được có vé miễn phí à?
The Opera House has assigned seating, so you always have to make reservations. I've already reserved your seats, and here are your tickets.
Ooh,
Ê, sắp được coi biểu diễn này Yên ơi.
thanks, Lenny.
Bạn có ở đó không vậy?
Don't mention it. There's no need to keep thanking me.
Hey, Lenny, could you come over here and take a look at this?
Go away.
Oh, I'll be right there. Seems there's an issue with the stage props over there.
Trợ lý
That's
Cowell.
Cal, my assistant, calling me. I'll go lend him a hand.
Yeah, we'll just go to our seats. You go ahead, Lenny.
Ok. Thì là chọn chỗ ngồi thôi.
Take it easy.
Có thằng nào ngồi dưới vậy ta?
Oh,
Rồi
we
đông
should
dự
get
chưa?
our seats. Come on, let's sit down.
Là đông dự chưa? Đông rồi, có ai dự chưa? Đông người có ai dự chưa? Ai đây? À hình như thằng này Drip Marketing rồi bạn. Thằng này chưa coi á, chưa có.
Hey, traveler. Maybe we should strike up a conversation with the person next to us.
Ở đây
Since
không
we're
có ai
sitting
rồi.
together and the rest of the place is practically empty still.
Thì đây là việc của
It's
Payman.
kinda awkward if we don't say anything. You little... Of course you put this on Paimon.
Excuse me, I did not realize you felt awkward. I am terribly sorry. I would be perfectly happy to chat with you if that is what you would like.
Oh, so you heard all of that, did ya? Boy, you sure have good ears. Paimon thought she was keeping her voice down. Wait, that's not it. Paimon's sorry. Paimon's the one who was being rude, talking under her breath like that. So let's talk, but, what should we talk about?
Cảm thấy không biết còn người gạo hết chứ.
Oh, Paimon's got it. You're also here early and sitting in the front. Are you a friend of Linny's too?
A friend, you say? Well, if Mr. Linney would like to be my friend, I would be more than happy to reciprocate.
Ồ,
Oh, so you're not friends with Linny then? Oh, this is getting more awkward by the second. Paimon nearly forgot to make her introduction. Nice to meet you. Paimon is Paimon and this is the Traveler. We just arrived in Fontaine.
It is an honor to meet you two. I have heard of your deeds across Tevat. And as required by proper etiquette, I will also introduce myself. I am...
Oh, Monsieur Nervillet. What an honor it is to have you here to see my show.
ồ,
Ah,
à, như vậy đấy.
Mr. Linney. I should say it is in fact an honor for me to see your performance in person.
Wait, Nervillet? Could he be?
Đúng rồi, thằng
I saw you all chatting just now, but it seems you still don't know who Monsieur Nervillet is. Allow me to introduce you to Fontaine's Chief Justice. That seat is always reserved for him. It wouldn't be too much to say that he's the symbol of justice and honesty here in Fontaine.
biểu câu
Whoa!
này.
Sorry
thằng
for
này
being
lé
so
rồi.
rude just now.
Mình phải rồi.
Paimon had no idea you were such an important person.
No offense taken. Being Chief Justice is merely what I do for work. Nearly every person has their usual reserved seat, so I'm not so special, really. And by the way, I should probably let you know, even though I would prefer not to, there's someone sitting up there in the VIP seats that has been striking a pose for quite a while now. I believe she is trying to give you a most elegant and impressive first impression. So I think you should take notice of her sooner rather than later.
Còn là
Otherwise,
cô
she
ấy sẽ
may
thất vọng
become
bạn là thị thần.
flustered.
Mọi người đến. Má đẹp. Thị thần vẫn đẹp nha.
Huh? Oh, it's Farina, the Hydro Archon. Huh. She sure has a smug and satisfied look on her face. Guess she has no idea that you saw right through her act.
Very good. That is for the best. No need to pay her any more attention. We may now enjoy the show.
Enjoy đi sao?
So is this what things are like between the Chief Justice and the Hydro Archon?
All right, please wait just a moment longer. I've pretty much finished my preparations, and the performance will start as soon as the audience has made their way to their seats.
Yay! The show's finally about to start! I can hardly wait! Paimon's never seen a real live map.
Cutscene.
They're dimming the lights! The show must be starting!
Cutscene nào?
Sorry. Paimon will try to stay quiet.
Welcome, one and all, to the Opera Epiclese. I am the star of today's show, Linny. And over here is my sister, Lynette, who will be working as my wonderful assistant. Please, let's give her a warm welcome.
Hello, everyone.
I know she may seem to be a little sleepy right now, but that's just a sign that she's nervous.
Whatever.
Now, some of you may be thinking, two vision holders who can freely manipulate elemental powers performing magic is not true magic at all. So, I would like to take a moment to assure you that elemental powers will have nothing to do with what you will witness on the stage today. Both Lynette and myself have removed our visions for the show. That way, even the gods won't be able to help us.
Oh, good point. That's what makes the show real magic.
Now, without further ado, let the show begin. Lynette will now exit the stage to make some preparations. I know you might miss her, but don't worry. She'll be coming right back on stage momentarily. Perhaps in an unexpected way. I'm sure she'll be stealing the spotlight soon enough. Oh, and before I forget, there's one more thing I should say. You never know what can happen in the blink of an eye. A magician's greatest skill is making things disappear or appear. The possibilities are endless. Huh? But this isn't what you came for. These little tricks, you've seen them all before. So it's time for something truly extraordinary, don't you think? This one's a little tricky. Using this water tank, I shall make my sister vanish completely, right before your very eyes. It's actually quite simple. She'll just turn into air bubbles and float right out of the top. Oh no! I told them to check all the props carefully. With the lid on, even air can't escape. An amateur magician would be getting very nervous right around now. Luckily, it's me on stage, so let me show you what a true virtuoso can do. Lynette, are you still there? Don't go too far. We don't want to use up all our magic.
Hi, I'm back.
Uh-huh.
Hay chứ nhờ. Làm cái cutscene cũng được quá.
Whoa! What in the world just happened? How did he do that? Paimon didn't seem to do anything. Wasn't Lynette inside the water tank? How did she disappear and then reappear out of nowhere?
If we could see easily through his tricks, then that would mean that his skills are still lacking. To appreciate magic, you should focus on the show happening on stage, rather than getting caught up in trying to see that which has been intentionally hidden.
Guess you're right. Paimon couldn't believe her eyes when Lynette reappeared. Amazing!
Thank you everyone. I'm glad you enjoyed that performance. But our magical journey has only just begun. I've prepared even more astonishing surprises for everyone here. The magic of transformation and disappearance can go far beyond what you've just seen. I'm sure many of you are thinking that escaping the water tank was impressive enough. But Lynette is still my assistant after all. In which case, I have ample time to make all necessary preparations. So, for my next trick, I will require the participation of one lucky audience member. Please, if my assistants could bring out the magical boxes now. There are 2 boxes, and only 2 boxes. One is here, and one is there in the aisle among the audience. I'm sure many of our clever audience members have already guessed our next magic trick. A swap! Our lucky audience member and I will each enter a magic box. After 1 minute, we will each emerge from the opposite box. Now please, everyone pay very close attention to the box you see here. Don't give me any chance to make a move.
Wow! How's he gonna do this? Hey, do you think this is all magic tricks, or does Lenny have actual superpowers?
The lucky audience member will be generated by this random number selector. It selects numbers entirely at random. Even I don't know who will be chosen to participate. Now then, let's begin.
Không may là đúng ghế của con đâu nha.
Let me see. Oh, row 7, seat 3. Congratulations! You now have the chance to experience magic firsthand for an entire minute. Please, come forward. My assistant will take you beside the magic box. I'm sorry, it might be a little cramped inside, but no need to feel nervous. We've carefully arranged everything for you to be as comfortable as possible. You don't need to do anything, but no matter what strange things may happen, don't come out of the box. If the magic is interrupted, who knows where you might end up? You might even find yourself in the Fortress of Meropide.
Oh,
All right. Before I enter the magic box, there is one more thing I need to ask the audience to do. Could you all give me a countdown? Like this. 60, 59, 58. Just keep counting down. You can go a little faster or slower if you like. I won't be able to see anything in the pitch black box, so I'll be relying on your voices to know when time is up. Oh, and no tricks now. If you quickly count from 60 in just 30 seconds, then I'll be in a tough spot.
Ooh! Paimon kinda wants to count faster after hearing him say that!
No, that won't do. I can see it in your eyes. You still can't be trusted. Let's practice together. Come on, repeat after me. 60, 59, 58.
60! 59! 58!
That's right, perfect. Keep it going. All right, I'll see you all on the other side once you've finished counting.
54, 53, 52,
I am counting in my head, I think things are exciting enough in here as it is. Merely a consequence of my identity and personality. Do not worry about me. Just enjoy the show.
Oh, alright. You look so serious that Paimon thought you might be feeling uncomfortable or something.
40, 39, 38! Mr. Lenny, are you alright in there? Is everything...
Yes, I'm fine, I'm fine. I'm just double checking that it would be a disaster if we get sent to the wrong places. For example,
Even though he's saying that, Lenny doesn't seem nervous at all. Ah, what was that noise? Did you hear it too? Not sure. Anyway, it doesn't seem like...
25, 24, 23! What's wrong, Mr. Lenny? I can still hear you moving in there.
I seem to have accidentally knocked over a decoration. I'm trying to fix it, but it's pitch black in here. I can't tell left from right.
Never mind the decorations. There's no time for that.
No, that's unacceptable. I want my show to be perfect. Don't worry, we still have 20 seconds. Hear them counting?
19, 18, 17!
Oh, it seems things aren't quite going as planned. It feels like you're all starting to count faster, but that's alright. I know it's 10 seconds and change.
10!
Almost there now. Whew. Swapping two people is harder work than you might think. Even a master magician like me can't guarantee I'll get it right the first time. Hey, wait! Is this the back one? I can't tell. They both look the same inside. Huh? No, that's not it. I'll try again.
7!
Hey, slow down! Honestly!
5! 4! 3!
Whoops! That doesn't count!
0!
Ta-da!
Thế nè. Không có ai trong đó cả.
What happened?
Mà Pháp. Gì vậy? Cái gì vậy?
Huh? Is this part of the show? Mr. Lenny, you're going to use magic to fix the stage now, right?
What happened?
Oh no. Maybe this isn't part of the show. The girl was still in that box.
This performance is over. Medical staff with me. Guards, secure the scene and detain all the performers. Seal the exits. No one is allowed in or out at this time.
Yes, that's right. If this was just an accident, then we must investigate the cause. But if this was all part of some scheme, then those accountable will not escape the judgment of the God of Justice.
No need to be alarmed, you two. We'll get to the bottom of this.
Đủ. Sợ vậy?
Unfortunately, the person who is in the magic box has been pronounced dead. His name was Cowell, one of the assistants in Linny's magic troupe. Apparently, the fireworks on stage ignited the ropes that were suspending the water tank, which then caused the tank to fall onto the stage. As of now, we are still not sure why we found Cowell in the box, rather than the guest from the audience. And after an initial search of the area, the guards have confirmed that the girl is nowhere to be found. It appears that this incident was not merely some mishap with the performance. And there are many indications that it is connected with the case of the serial disappearances of young women.
The serial disappearances case?
That's the case that Charlotte mentioned before.
I know the truth. I can see through the whole thing. Really, using such a shallow and obvious mystery as his finale
Did he really underestimate us that badly? I say that our powerful magician, Mr. Linney, is now the prime suspect for the serial disappearances case.
Huh? Why me? This whole thing was an accident.
No, this all occurred during your magic show, did it not? The missing girl disappeared after being chosen, did she not? The deceased is one of your assistants, is he not? Now that I think about it, that whole speech about magicians making things disappear was nothing more than a provocation, a bald-faced challenge.
That can't be right. How can Lenny do this? He was in the box on the stage the entire time. We can even hear it besides. Before the show, he told us they would like to catch the criminal behind the disappearances. He couldn't possibly mean catching himself.
Save discussion for a later time, please. Lady Farina, may I assume that your comments just now constitute an accusation against Mr. Linney and his associates? And that
I just think that he... Well, I think it might be a little early to talk about formally pressing charges.
But what Lady Farina said just now makes perfect sense. Look,
A kidnapping and murder carried out under the cover of a magic show.
I mean, of course, my dear people. But what excites me even more than the obvious truth before our eyes is, that's right, I mean you, traveler. You'll support Linney, won't you? After all, he was the one who helped you the first time we met. Then there's no problem at all. You know, the Traveler and I already had a duel the first time we met. But with Linney's help, our little duel ended in a draw. But draws really are the most boring possible outcome. So, no more draws. Between the two of us, there must be a clear winner and loser. And what better place to hold such a riveting showdown and decide the true victor than here, on the grandest of stages, the Opera Epiclese.
it wasn't a draw. She obviously lost last time.
I understand. Charges have now been pressed, and as such, a trial is in order. Well, Traveler, seems Lady Farina has set you in her sights. But putting her dramatic rhetoric aside for a moment, I would like to ask you, are you willing to act as Mr. Linney's attorney and defend him in this case?
Đủ. Dù bạn không có lựa chọn khác à? Tôi không đồng ý thì sao?
Very well. The trial will be held a day from now in the Opera House. Both sides may investigate the scene to build their cases and search for the truth. Linney and his troupe are all potential suspects and shall remain within the Opera House. The audience may begin to leave in an orderly fashion once they have been cleared by the guards.
A day isn't that long. Let's see what kind of case this big shot outlander can build in such a short amount of time. I'm really quite looking forward to hearing it.
Được đấu với Thị Thành là bằng kiến thức rồi. Còn gì bằng?
Lenny!
Còn gì bằng?
Sorry about everything that happened just now. Were you frightened?
Of course! Who wouldn't be scared after witnessing an accident like that?
Yeah, I'm a little shaken up myself. How could this happen? And poor Cal. I know you already claimed that you would defend me, but now it's just us talking. Tell me, do you think I could possibly be the murderer? Good to hear. Thank you so much for trusting me. I'm sure everyone sees me as the biggest suspect at this point. But, if you ask me, the whole thing is mysteries layered upon mysteries, such that all that's left is I don't know whether what happened there on the stage was purely an accident or not. And I don't know why poor Cal was in the box. As for how that girl chosen from the audience could suddenly disappear, I'm afraid I don't have any answers either. If someone tampered with my performance, then we need to... Even a skilled and knowledgeable magician like myself couldn't pull all that off in just 1 minute.
Which is precisely why we need to investigate. As this book says, the impossible could not have happened. Whatever happened must have been that which is possible.
Bài mình lại mất kính ở đâu ra thế?
I bought them when we were reading at the bookshop in the city earlier. Pretty cool, huh? Don't worry, Paimon used her own savings to buy them. It wasn't from our travel funds.
I think they look cute on you, Paimon.
You have good taste, Lynette.
That's the right attitude. Feeling depressed isn't going to help me now. I need to get back to my normal self. But with the guards watching our every move, it's going to be especially difficult for Lynette and I to prove our own innocence. Good thing you agreed to be our attorneys. Thanks for that. We'll be counting on you.
Yes, thank you so much.
Yeah, just leave it to... since we're going to start investigating, Paimon has a question first. Where did Lynette go during the performance?
Ah, well... I'm afraid that would involve some of our essential trade secrets as magicians.
The secrets behind our magic are past saving, Linny.
I suppose you're right. The truth behind our tricks is going to be important evidence that will be weighted during the trial. 'Tis truly a pity. As a magician, our magic show is a work of art. We've poured countless hours and spared no effort in perfecting it. But if revealing our secrets will help you uncover the truth behind what happened, then it will be well worth it. We should go somewhere else if we're going to discuss our magic tricks. We'll go speak with the guards, and in the meantime, you can go investigate the stage and the seating areas.
Alright, let's go have a look while the investigation teams are still here. Detective Paimon is on the case!
Detective Paimon đấy chứ. Trời ơi. Thế là bây giờ bị kết tội.
Hello, officer. How's the investigation going?
I see. You must be the traveler that Lady Farina mentioned. Listen, I'll be perfectly honest with you. I'd avoid getting mixed up in this whirlpool of a mess if I were you.
Huh? What do you mean?
Come with me and you'll see. The deceased is one of Linny's assistants, named Cal. Even though he hadn't joined the troupe long, he was hardworking and everyone generally liked him. The assistants are usually in charge of setting up and inspecting the props, as well as assisting with the show and keeping the crowd engaged. As you probably saw when you were in the audience, the water tank suddenly fell and smashed the box with Cowl inside it. This is the real mystery. We've already searched the scene and were unable to find any traces of the girl. However, if you look carefully, the box was positioned directly under the water tank. The ropes holding the tank were then burned by the pyrotechnics on stage, causing them to snap. All these factors lining up so perfectly makes it hard to see this as a mere accident. If anything, the more logical explanation is that the whole incident was intentionally planned, and Linny is the most likely person to have access to all these areas.
But he doesn't have a motive.
Are you both good friends of his?
Well, you can't say we're good friends, but we've known each other for a little while.
So in just a short time, he was not only able to win your trust, but even convince you to act as his attorneys. I know there's no such thing as magic. The real trick of a magician is holding the audience in the palm of their hand. I've seen a lot of cases, and I can tell you that people are the least reliable kind of evidence. Sorry, I tend to be pretty straightforward. Just know that I'm warning you for your own good. Anyway, you may investigate the scene of the crime yourselves if you're curious. Who knows, maybe you'll be able to come up with some new evidence.
Có thể thông qua sổ ghi chép vụ án để... Oh.
the murderer was. Why would it be?
Ok. Hoặc là thật sẽ bị hỏng, đã được chữa lại. Vị trí hiện ra nếu như anh ta không ở trong hộp thì sao có thể? Đúng. Đây. Cái sợi dây đứt là cái
So this is the rope that broke and caused the water tank to fall. The rope looks pretty durable. How can it be
đúng.
burned
Sao
through
bị đốt
so
cháy được dễ
quickly
vậy
by
ta? Trong khi nó
fireworks?
là một sợi dây tường để nâng một cái power tank to vậy.
Why are you suddenly so serious, traveler? Whoa. Look! This bit is made from different material! Most of it was burned away, but there's still a little bit of it left. Huh. So if a rope meant to hold something was made with that kind of material in it, then that means... Wait! Why don't you write all this down? Let's take...
Dây tường có chất liệu dễ cháy.
Hello there. What are you investigating?
Oh, this location has also been cordoned off because the Magic Troop members are currently considered prime suspects. The investigation team is still collecting evidence. The seats were all booked in advance, so we were able to deduce the missing woman's identity by checking the guest list. Sure, it's not like this is confidential information. We will publish it later anyway when we petition the public to help us find the missing person. Her name is Halsey. She's a painter from Fontaine who's made a bit of a name for herself. Apparently, she wasn't a regular at the Opera House, but she'd been feeling some pressure with her work lately, which made her decide to come see the magic show. The Magic Troop members all claim not to know her. We have looked into her social connections. It seems that she has no personal grievances or conflicts of interest with the suspects. Simply put, she wasn't related to the Magic Troop at all, which matches the features of the previous serial disappearances.
Were the victims of previous cases also chosen at random?
That's how it seems to us, in any case. Apart from the fact that they were all young women of around the same age range, there really weren't any other connections between them.
Okay then.
No need to be so formal. If you do happen to see the missing girl, please be sure to contact us. It is of utmost importance that we get to the bottom of these disappearances.
The investigation team has some new findings. Turns out there's an issue with the random number selector after all.
See, told you. What if the machine picked some big guy's seat? You think the murderer would have still made his move then?
Sorry to interrupt, but we're helping Linny and Lynette with their side of the investigation.
You're trying to help them? That'll be a tall order.
Linny used the machine to pick a random member of the audience during his performance, right? The lucky girl that later disappeared. Well, we thought there might be a serious problem with the machine, so we had to take...
It turns out that the seat number it picked wasn't random at all. The machine picks that same number every time. I'm sure you already know that you have to make a reservation in advance to get a seat, regardless of whether it's a trial or some performance. In other words, Linny knew who would be sitting where from the very beginning.
That much checks out. Linny reserved our seats for us too.
Let's just see why I was saying it'd be tough to make a case for Linny.
Even the...
Nghi lắm, máy quay số gì cũng ra số như vậy mà. Ai da. Đó rồi.
Lenny's still talking to the guards. I think someone will be assigned to monitor us later.
I see that you're investigating the area. Well, it just so happens that if you find any new and interesting leads...
We don't have too many thoughts yet.
Then why don't I tell you my hypothesis first?
The thud? Oh, you mean...
Yes, exactly. It wasn't terribly loud, but it's just that everyone was awaiting the results of Lenny's trick with bated breath. So no one paid it much mind.
That makes sense. So, what do you make of it?
I'm of the opinion that it may have been the sound of Lenny's accomplice. Lynette, perhaps. Jumping atop the water tank, or something like that. And when the pyrotechnics went off, she cut the rope, sending the water tank crashing down.
Wait, wasn't the noise we heard too loud for...
Perhaps the balance wasn't right, leading to a particularly rough landing. Oh, that's true.
That does...
Hey, you! Yes, both of you! Over here! I've been keeping an eye on you for a while now.
Huh? You mean us?
That's right. If I'm not mistaken, you're also among those who...
Well, you're right on the more about that one.
Hey, that-
But who are you?
Have you never heard of the Spina di Rosula? From
Yeah.
mediating disputes and providing protection to solving conundrums, you name it. And I, Navia, have the honor of being its renowned president.
Hai trời.
Though those who play by our rules call me boss.
I'm Silver, her attendant. Pleased to meet you.
And I'm Melus. Demoiselle's various daily needs and affairs are under my purview.
Huh? Boss? Demoiselle? What gives with the names?
Well, I am the second generation president. Malus and the others are still used to my previous title.
My apologies, Demoiselle. Should you prefer, boss, I will endeavor to use that instead.
No need. You don't have to call me boss. Just Navia is fine.
Okay, if you say so. Not that we're members of Spina di Rosula anyway.
All merely trifling details. Never mind. Now, back to the situation at hand. That's right. I've always kept an eye on the serial disappearance cases. My interest stems from a matter back from my father's time. Judging from the look of things, I find Linny an unlikely mastermind.
Really? We think so too! That's why we're looking for clues now. But how did you come to that conclusion?
Intuition, naturally. My unparalleled intuition. Farina sure was quick to point the finger at Linny without any decisive evidence whatsoever, wasn't she? But that's not uncommon for her. If you remember, the Justice had to interrupt her and ask if she was pressing charges just to keep her from getting carried away. Anyway, a trial begins the moment someone levels charges. And, of course, there was no way Farina was going to back down in that situation.
Sounds more like you just don't trust the Hydro-Archon.
Kiêu ngạo.
Well, what's your opinion? I must admit that she can be interesting at times, but liking her doesn't mean that I'll blindly agree with her. All right, I've answered your question. Now, it's time you answer mine.
Wait a minute, did that answer count?
Well, I say it does. But don't worry, you won't hear any pointless questions from me. In your opinion, do you think it's right to treat a trial like it's an opera?
Well?
And why would that be? See, Silver and Malus? I told you they'd be different.
Most astute of you, demoiselle. I too think that the traveler's response was most excellent. No matter how wonderful the script or how fervent the audience's expectations may be, the trials that go on stage here must be based in fact. And if that can be done, boss, then...
All right, that's quite enough, Maloose. Anyway, I like your answer. You passed with flying colors. Now, I need to make some preparations, following which our joint investigation shall commence. You two shall be my assistants.
Wait! Since when did we become assistants?
Oh, well, I can be the assistant. Sure. Or your companion, if you like. I'm really not that fussy.
That's more like it.
Vậy mình đó chảnh.
Far be it from me to brag, but I believe that Demoiselle's intuition will be instrumental in uncovering the truth. You wish to save a friend from false accusations, and we wish to unravel the disappearances. In this sense, our goals are aligned.
You have a point. And what about you over there? What do you think? You seem like you've got something on your mind.
I have nothing to add.
Oh,
we'll be making some preparations first. Just be sure to let us know if they start revealing Lenny's tricks. Thanks!
Má Lynette bị kết án là ấy rồi.
Whoever the
Nói cho Lynette rồi.
Sorry, but no one can freely enter or exit the Opera House at the moment.
No, we're not leaving. We're representing Linny and Lynette as attorneys, so we're investigating the case. Were you always guarding this entrance?
Cô ở đây canh cửa suốt.
Yes. After the Chief Justice gave the order, everyone coming in or out must undergo a strict inspection. So, the missing girl couldn't have left from here. At least, not from that point on. I doubt there was much opportunity then, either.
How can you be so sure?
Well, because I was in charge of security near the entrance at that time. I couldn't see Linny's performance from here, which was quite a shame. Just my luck. But still, I could not abandon my post, and I stayed put no matter how loud the applause was. If someone had so much as even approached the door. We Melazines are good at that sort of thing, you know.
So, it's safe to say the girl couldn't have... Alright, thank you for your help. This will be useful info.
Nữa thì đứa con gái mất tích không có đi ra khỏi ngoài mà nó vẫn là một trong những đứa ở đây à.
We checked everything of note here at the performance venue. Paimon wonders how Linny's discussion with the guards is going. Let's go see, shall we?
Understood. Then I will be going with you. Just so you're aware, I will be monitoring your actions and making notes as necessary.
Very good. Thanks for being so agreeable. I'd pull a rose out of my hat as a gift for you if I could.
You may spare the pleasantries. I'm just doing my job.
You've arrived. Who's this? Me? I'm Spina di Rosula's guardian angel. If you've got a problem, I've got the firepower. Sorry, I got a little carried away there. Call me Navia. I'm a partner of theirs, and we'll be helping investigate this whole situation. And these are my companions. Would you mind if they join as well?
Fine by me.
Oh, new helpers? I would be most grateful.
Well, let's just say we're tagging along. It's not every day you get to see the secrets behind magic performed on such a large scale.
I appreciate your kind interest. Come with me. We'll be heading below stage.
Huh? Below stage?
Yes, a world of secrets is hidden beneath this magic box, prepared specifically for this switcheroo trick. But before I reveal everything, you should have a look first. Notice anything strange here? I'm not trying to be dramatic. Remembering the details of a trick will help you understand the methods used to...
Weren't there balloons and other decorations here?
Ah, good eye. That said, you're still far from discovering the answer.
The back? You mean the inside of the door? What's different about it? Paimon didn't...
Very good indeed. I thought you might not be able to catch that, given the back of this door was patterned. Those patterns are now gone, replaced by a smooth wooden board. So, if you put 2 and 2 together, what do you get? Exactly. All right, let's go. I'll tell you how it works as we head down.
Oh, so there was a passageway under the magic box!
I knew you'd figure out most of it as soon as you saw this place. The 2 magic boxes are positioned right above the 2 entrances of the tunnel. See this flatbed trolley? The box with the lucky audience member in it would be shuttled over to the other side using the trolley.
This trolley can raise and lower and even rotate, ensuring that the box will face in the right direction.
I see. So that's the purpose of the box inside another box.
Precisely. The inner box would descend after the audience member was put inside and be moved along the trolley, all while the outer box would remain on stage as if nothing had ever changed.
So that's how you did it!
Once the box was lowered, the trolley would store some energy through this device here, with which it would complete the rest of the steps. The audience member would only be able to feel some slight movements in the dark, and by the time she walked out, she would already be back on stage.
Right! You were talking that whole time, and you even came out for a moment near the end!
Ah, yes. A phonograph operated by Lynette was used to achieve that effect. My assistant and I had already scripted our conversation beforehand. When the countdown began, I had already gone to the opposite box via a tunnel using that ladder.
And what about Lynette? Where was she?
I was in the mezzanine space in the back of the box.
Oh, interesting!
That's how we were able to coordinate Linny's lines with the assistant. And, by the way, I was the one who walked out of the box at the end.
I mean, we are twins. All it takes is a change of clothes and no one can tell who's who. And that's my favorite part of this trick. Only Lynette and I can perform it.
So that's how it all worked! Wow! Every detail you revealed was more amazing than the last!
Lynette would briefly walk out of the box and then go back in, jumping into the tunnel and escaping before the box on the trolley could finish ascending. And then I walk out of the other box in the audience area, and the trick would be complete. The operative word here being would. But as you saw, Cal was in the box, not our audience member. She, on the other hand, mysteriously vanished.
We really don't know how that happened.
If not for that interlude, this would have been an astonishing trick. I probably never would have figured out how you pulled it off. And yet, to think that someone was able to use this magic trick to commit a crime. Could we have a look around? I think we can come up with some more leads.
This is the scene of the crime, so Linny and Lynette are not permitted to stay here. I'll escort them back up.
Yes, of course. No need to be so strict now. I won't disappear into thin air.
Thanks, everyone. We're counting on you.
Oh, these are the clothes that the lady chosen from the audience was wearing, right? Her clothes are here, but she's nowhere to be found.
Right! And do you really need to do that if you're kidnapping them? Ugh, this is so confusing. Paimon doesn't want to be a detective anymore.
Trang phục của thiếu nữ. Wow, vẫn còn trang phục. Mà làm sao nó có thể bị mất được? Ồ, có một cái nè.
What is this place?
It seems someone could fit through here.
Huh. Could this have been the suspect's escape?
Alone, perhaps. But if they had to pull another person...
But there are no other ways in or out of here. Oh, you're right. Let Paimon write that down.
What's this?
Looks like a hook tied to the end of a rope. Huh? There's a...
Perhaps it was a prop for a different trick.
Whatever it is.
The floor is wet. Please be careful not to slip.
Speaking of which, why? What?
Oh, Paimon knows. It's one of those tricks where you... And here's a broken vase.
That can't be. The trolley moves along tracks from start.
Seems we're just about done investigating down here.
Yes. Well, we've ascertained the state of the crime scene. Let's find a place to sort out our findings once Malouse returns. Seems to me...
Apologies for the wait, demoiselle.
So, what did the guards say? Did the criminal escape through the vent?
They believe the odds of that are very low, since the vent leads to the Opera House's basement. The guards have checked the area carefully. No one left through the basement during the performance or after the incident, and no one was found hiding there.
So the tunnels become like a secret chamber then. You know, like the kind you usually see in novels.
The plot thickens. Halsey's disappearance and Cowell's death are both quite inexplicable. No wonder Farina was so confident in her accusation. All the current evidence points toward Linny and Lynette.
In other words, the charges are very likely to be upheld unless we make some considerable progress.
Charges and then trial.
That's right. This is how a trial goes in the Opera House. During the proceedings, the Chief Justice and the Oratrice will hear statements from both sides. That's right. This is how indemnitium is produced. The statements from both sides, the defenses from attorneys, witness testimonies, and even the audience's emotions. Well, to put it simply, it's as if the Oratrice has its own will, and is a judge in its own right.
This also precludes any kind of favoritism on the part of the Chief Justice. And not that this has ever happened anyway.
Once both sides have finished speaking, the Chief Justice will make his final decision. This, too, will be used by the Oratrice as a reference. Then, finally, the Oratrice will be consulted by officials. The result it returns is the will of justice itself.
Huh? So that machine is the one that actually decides? I haven't gotten a Valette copy.
In practice, there is very little difference. Both have always come to the same judgment. Which is why people have great faith in the Chief Justice. Ah, yes, the guards also asked me to convey that none of us will be allowed to leave this place before the trial.
Huh? What?
Because we've chosen to act as the twins' proxies. That makes us persons related to the case.
They're concerned that we might be colluding with outside parties, or that we might find outside help to disrupt the case. And even if that were not so, it could prove problematic if we happen to spread key...
I'm ready to break out at any time.
Whoa, whoa! There's no need for that! Paimon thinks they have a point. That said, are they providing food?
Of course. I just hope you don't mind the lack of options. I'm afraid that catering to all tastes is not in the cards, nor is...
In that case, let's just sort out our findings together here. Pity. I was hoping to take you to try some of Fontaine's famous desserts, too. I mean, what better way to properly think through our findings than over some tea and sweets?
Huh. Breaking out suddenly doesn't seem like such a bad idea after all. Just kidding, just kidding. Paimon will still do her best, even if there are no snacks.
Mình chỉ biết ăn thôi.
What do you mean, no snacks? Of course we'll have snacks. If we cannot buy some, then we'll simply make some.
Huh? Here?
Understood, demoiselle. Everyone, please come with me.
Wait, you're carrying a portable stove with you?
Yes, I must be prepared to meet the demoiselle's baking needs whenever the fancy strikes her.
I have eggs, sugar, and almonds at the ready.
Good work, you two. Then I'll get to it. Please sit tight for a moment. You'll get to taste my awesome snacks soon enough.
These three are quite the interesting group. And Paimon thought it smelled good while it was still in the oven. From the way you had these two guys carrying all that stuff around, Paimon thought you'd have them do more during the baking process. But you ended up doing the entire thing by yourself. Beating the egg whites, grinding almonds.
I was applauding.
And I was giving encouraging smiles.
Paimon was just thinking. Aren't you worried about getting your fancy dress dirty, beating egg whites and baking like this?
Well, I don't think it's carved in stone anywhere that fancy ladies can only read books, sip tea, ride horses, and play the piano. I just really enjoy making snacks. Don't underestimate beating egg whites, by the way. It's a real arm workout. You also need to beat them to just the right consistency, or your macarons will crack. Anyway, give these a try, fresh out of the oven. There's 3 for each of us.
Only 3?
Well, eating too many sweet treats might send all that sugar to your head.
Tea is ready to be served as well. This, no need for concern. I merely...
All right then. Down to business. As Paimon mentioned previously, the tunnel seems to be something of a secret chamber. However, we can assume that Linny and Lynette were not alone within it. So the magician twins could have committed the crimes, of course, but they lack any logical motive.
Exactly! Why would they do such a thing right when everyone was watching?
The flower vase and the thud we heard during the performance could indicate some altercation between Halsey and the criminal in the tunnel, resulting in the shattering of the vase, the discarding of her clothes, and her abduction. Perhaps the criminal thought that since she was chosen from the crowd, she would be too easy to identify if she was still wearing the same clothes.
Paimon thinks that makes sense, but the real trouble is...
True. None of the clues we found thus far support the existence of this third person. But the only people left to consider are both technically victims, whether it's the missing girl, Halsey, or poor Cowl.
Huh. Could Halsey have secretly made modifications to the magic props in order to murder Cowl before making her escape?
That's right. And even if she had tampered with the setup, she would need to understand the entire trick to pull it off. Nor does she have any motive. The guards said that she has never had any dealings with the Magic Troop's member.
Were we not thorough enough in our search? From the sound of things, this is turning into an impossible case. Your macarons are amazing though, Navia.
They are my specialty after all. And I see you've already had 5 of them.
What? 5? Oh, that can't be right. Paimon only counted 3, honest.
Please don't worry about it. At my age, a few less sweets might actually be...
No. Being greedy is one thing, but Paimon knows how to count. Besides, Paimon knows that if she ate too many, then others wouldn't have enough. Wait, even you don't believe Paimon? How could you? If Paimon ate those 2 extra macarons, then may they turn into stone in her
All right, we get it. Well, I suppose one of us might have gotten too engrossed. Malus, set up the stove again, if you would.
Huh?
Making sure everyone gets 3 macarons, of course.
Exactly. We don't want to try.
As you wish, demoiselle.
And I have the egg, sugar, and almonds.
Wow, this real.
Well, that's it for snack time. I don't know what we're looking for yet, but we've still got some time. As attorneys, I suggest the 2 of you think the case over again. It would be awkward if you got all tongue-tied on...
Alright, thanks for your help, and for the snacks.
It was nothing. A small task for the Spina di Rosula. Silver, Malus, it's time to go. I'll be back if I find anything new.
Alright, it's time to put our heads together. We've got to get our defense...
Bây giờ đột phá vũ khí này là thánh đi vật, còn cái này chắc là ấy rồi. Thiên phú. Ôi xồi, quá nhiều thứ để làm, quá là nhiều thứ để làm đấy. Đến 10 giờ này, ngày mai hay ngày hôm nay? Sau.
You have to see the world for yourself to appreciate how beautiful it is. What do we do? The whole situation is so confusing. Good plan. Impossible things don't just happen.
Just relax. Even if everyone else suspects Lenny and Lynette, at least we will be supporting them from the stand. Besides, I doubt Farina understands any more about what happened than we do.
Thanks, Navia. Well,
best of luck to you.
Đi thôi, bắt đầu làm tòa án nè, làm thám tử nè.
Ah, finally, you're back. Well, how did your investigation go?
to be honest, you might be disappointed.
No. We're already very grateful that you are willing to help.
Well now, don't you all look disappointed. Don't tell me that your investigation came up. That was to be expected, of course. The guilty can never produce proof of their innocence. But don't let that stop you. I shall be terribly disappointed should you, my most anticipated foe, concede so easily.
Since both parties are present, I declare that the trial regarding the magic show incident is now in session. Firstly, in order for the audience to understand the causes and results of the incident, could we please have Mr. Linney explain the trick?
Yes, of course. I will explain while Lynette demonstrates on stage.
Thank you, Mr. Linney. In that case, I take your statement to be that you ran to and remained hidden within the magic box in the audience stands once the trick began, and thus could not have committed the crime. Is this correct?
Yes, that's correct, Your Honor.
In that case, I call upon the prosecution. Lady Farina.
Why, of course I do. Allow me to take the first shot and break this case wide open. Mr. Lenny is clearly lying. There is no way you could have been in the box the whole time if you were to abduct Halsey and murder Cowell. In fact, I'd say you were hardly in that tunnel at all.
That is simply your hypothesis based on the presumption that I'm guilty.
Oh, is that so? And if I may ask, what did you hear while you were inside your box?
The roaring countdown of the crowd, of course. That's how I kept track of the time and built anticipation for the finale.
And you didn't hear anything else at all? Nothing that might leave an impression of any kind?
No, nothing.
I see. But when the count reached 30 seconds or so, there was a thud. One so loud that I believe practically everyone heard it.
Huh?
Hey, hang on.
Yeah, I'm sure he could have heard a noise that loud from inside the box.
I was right by the box and I definitely heard the thud.
Look at those scales. Could those mean...
Well then, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to use the words of the magician himself. You never know what can happen in the blink of an eye. Indeed, it seems his alibi can also collapse in the blink of an eye. Of course, I have armed myself to do far more than smash your alibi. Confidence cannot go unfounded, and my foundations are rock solid. Tell me, aren't you and Lynette actually from the House of the Hearth?
Căn nhà hơi ấm.
House of the Hearth?
Hello.
No wonder they did something like this.
So the serial disappearances were the Fatsu's doing. Now it all makes...
I've got a feeling that what happened on stage probably wasn't just an accident.
That's irrelevant. Our identities have nothing to do with what happened.
Indeed. Then perhaps you could tell us everything that happened during that 1 minute. Your first priority is to prove yourself innocent after all. I'm sure there is little that needs to be kept secret now. The Outlander is speechless. My, oh my, don't they look flabbergasted? Now comes the info. Good thing I made all those preparations. Seems the all-nighter I pulled last night is really paying off.
Hey, Lenny, why didn't you tell us this before?
Order! Order! Mr. Linney, allow me to re-establish the facts. Lady Farina has raised 2 points. First, when the thud was heard in the Opera House, you were neither in the box nor the tunnel. Second, you and Ms. Lynette are both members of the House of the Hearth. Are these claims true? Please answer my question, Mr. Linney.
I'm sorry. Yes, they're true, Your Honor.
I knew it.
Well, that's it. We might as well move on to the sentence.
What should we do now?
Granted. In that case, what is your request?
Is that really necessary? They're already as good as...
The defendant deceived their own attorneys. What is there left to discuss?
Order! Order! Your request is reasonable, and we shall adjourn. This trial will reconvene in 1 hour.
So you would stick to Mr. Linney's defense even after knowing what you do now? You certainly have more professionalism than I thought. In that case, my dear audience, let's allow the joy of victory to steep for a little while longer.
Well, this is awkward. I didn't think the Hydro Archon would dig all that up. I'm sorry, Traveler and Paimon.
Yeah.
Paimon just knew where to start. We trusted you two. We based our entire reasoning on the assumption that you weren't bad guys. Not to set the wrong tone or anything, but Paimon's really mad.
I'm very sorry. I know you're angry, and reasonably so, but please, let me explain. I know you've clashed with the Vitui several times before. I wouldn't be surprised if just hearing the word is enough to make you upset. But our organization is very, very large, and the Harbingers have very different personalities and goals.
Right now, we want to save people. As many as we can.
That's right. I'm sure we're on the same page when it comes to this nation and the disaster that its people might face. I knew if it weren't for our respective identities, we could become good friends. That's why I didn't wish to flat out lie to you, but chose to hide some details instead. The truth is very important, but being completely transparent about everything would see us spending more effort than we need to. Right. So, you be the judge. Heck, if I were you, I fear that I'd even struggle to trust me at this point. You met a Fatus who works as a magician, a trickster by trade. All by coincidence, too. But still, I'm asking you to trust me. I am no criminal. At least...
Sorry. Please forgive us.
Ồ, mấy hai đứa này là pha xui à?
You both say that, but... Right. Let's hear your answer first, and no lies now.
Of course. I'll answer any We've been trying to find out how the Oratrice operates. We want to know why it has consciousness. Why can it deliver sentences accurately? During our investigations, we learned that the machine's core is beneath it. From that moment on, Lynette and I have been designing this box swap trick, with the objective of getting close to the core.
Is that why you needed a whole minute?
That's right. In truth, the audience would take about 75 seconds to count down from 60, while I would only need 15 to get to the opposite box. So, after jumping into the tunnel, I accessed the Opera House basement via the vent, and went to investigate the room in which the core is stored.
That air vent was created during the construction of the tunnel specifically to execute this step.
Well, nothing. As soon as I reached that room and was about to investigate, I heard someone's voice. Which should have been impossible, of course. I was quite certain that I was the only one in the room. That voice seemed to recognize me and tried to speak to me. I chose to err on the side of caution and retreated the way I came. On the way back, I saw the broken vase and the clothes on the ground, but the countdown was almost finished, so there wasn't time to give it any thought. After that, the homicide occurred just as you saw.
Well, that explains why you didn't hear the thud.
Because of that prophecy I told you about, of course. We must know all we can about this nation's secrets in order to deal with that prophesized...
That's the only way we can save everyone.
So, there you have it. The whole truth. I swear, I didn't hide anything from you this time. It was never my wish to proceed under this cloud of mistrust either. But, like I said earlier, you can be the judge. If you want to leave because you don't trust the Fatui, there's nothing I can do to stop you.
Well, Traveler, you decide. Paimon will follow your lead however you choose.
Nếu anh không làm, nếu anh là thủ phạm.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for giving us a chance.
The current problem is that the scales are tipped pretty badly against... If we want to refute the Hydro Archon's accusations, we're gonna need a seriously
Bằng chứng
watertight
quan trọng là có rồi.
Oh, Paimon thinks she gets...
Ok. Trong này có rương hay gì không ta? Không, trên không có gì hết.
Both parties have returned to their positions. Let us continue the trial. When last we left off, Mr. Linney acknowledged the new evidence presented by Lady Farina as fact. Therefore, Lady Farina may continue stating her reconstruction of the events.
That took long enough. Now then, if everyone would lend me their attention. At this stage, let's revisit that scene from Linny's perspective.
Căn cứ theo quá trình sự việc mà đối phương mô tả tìm ra nội dung không đúng trong đó. Tận dụng vật chứng và manh mối tìm được trong quá trình điều tra sự việc để dùng cách phản bác để thuyết phục khán giả sẽ giúp quan điểm. Ok. Sau khi tìm ra phản bác, tất cả nội dung không đúng sẽ hoàn thành. Ok, vô nè.
As the countdown began, he entered the tunnel. When the flatbed trolley passed, he opened the box and got into an altercation with Halsey, which caused the loud thud. He did not realize that this sound could be heard by everyone in the opera house, which is why he claimed earlier that he could not hear the sound. Finally, he used the vase to knock her out, before making her change clothes to prevent others from recognizing her. At this time, Cowell arrived in the tunnel, having heard that strange noise, and so Linny proceeded to knock him out too before stuffing him afterward. Linny passed the unconscious Halsey to his accomplice through the magic box in the audience stands, before operating the devices such that Cowell's death would be ruled an accident. And there you have it.
Does the defendant's side have any objections to Lady Farina's description of the events?
The key to refuting Lady Farina is the order of events. What Linny experienced and what he saw.
Sau khi đường hầm thì đã thông qua lỗ thông gió này. Sau khi bắt đầu đếm ngược, Linux đã vào được. Bắt đầu đếm ngược, Lilith đã vào trong đường hầm.
According to Linny, he left via the vent after entering.
Lilith dùng bình hoa đánh Han Liên ngất xỉu rồi kéo ra lột của cô ấy ra để lúc đó hay là sự đang trong đường hầm sao? Dùng bình hoa đánh Han Liên rồi ngất xỉu. Thiết bị ảo thuật được thiết kế tỉ mỉ. Trong lúc gây án, Lily vô tình đường hầm thì sự việc là sao?
Lenny did not.
Sau khi đi vào đường hầm ta nhưng mà nó lại đi đây.
Lenny went to the.
Attention! When the countdown started, Lenny did indeed going, but he immediately used a vent to access the Opera House basement, which is where the underground. Once he reached that area, he heard a voice in what should have been, and the crime scene had already developed by the time he reached the tunnel again. Finally, he reached the surface. And that was when the accident happened from his point.
Hay quá Lộc ơi. Phản bác thành công.
Paimon did it! Paimon actually managed to say all that!
In other words, you believe that he knew nothing of the incident?
That's right!
My reasoning?
Đậu trên sân khấu đã bị ai đó dở chậu.
If that's the case, then if Cowell hadn't entered the tunnel, who was the entire setup meant to kill? Assuming that what you say is true, Lenny only needed to kidnap the young girl to cause a new disappearance case. What would the point of killing someone on stage be?
Oh, they have a point.
That's right, you tell him! And that, well, your denial is very strident, I'll give you that. But what proof do you have to back your claim? Of course I do. If he had been in the magic box the whole time, how could he have not heard that sound? You're saying that he wasn't?
Không ở trong đường hầm lúc mà xảy ra là sao ta, chứng cứ có thể chứng minh Lynette không ở trong đường hầm. Có ở trong đường hầm chứ ta.
Are you sure we don't need to give this more thought? That's right! Lenny wasn't in the box or in the tunnel. That's why he didn't hear anything strange during the performance. This means that when the crime happened, Lenny had already... The same clue you used to disprove his alibi has now become the best proof! How do you like that?
Well, use such logic. Well then, if it wasn't Linny who committed the crimes, then who was it?
Qua điều tra rõ màn pháo hoa bắn lúc kết thúc biểu diễn của cô Ly đã đốt cháy dây thừng khiến cho bể nước rơi xuống để chết cô trong hộp. Sau khi lại trừ nữa. Đây đã trình bày các chi tiết về cách thức thực hiện ảo thuật thông qua chiều tương tác trên sân khấu là do trang phục.
Could there have been a third person involved? Is that... The deceased's name is Cowell, Linny's assistant. He would have been able to tamper with the equipment. Could there have been a third person involved? Is that really a possibility?
Người thứ ba.
The deceased's name is Cowell, Linny's assistant. He would have been able to tamper with the equipment.
Đó chính là cô quay à?
That can... Oh, is that so? How interesting! What I must do next is recreate the truth. What Cowell did, and how he went from would-be perpetrator.
Làm sao biết trước điều này không thể nào quấy nhiễu kế hoạch gây án.
Lenny was not in the tunnel at that moment, which gave our criminal ample time.
Để sẽ được chứng minh trong trường hợp xảy ra xung đột.
It would have been tough for both people to fit into that vent. The sound we heard may have come from a clash between... No one entered or left the opera house through its entrances. Halsey's clothing was in the tunnel. So, there must have been some fear... The sound we heard may have come from a clash between the missing Halsey...
Kẻ khả nghi hiện tại.
The deceased's name is Cowell, Linny's assistant. No one entered or left the opera house through its entrances. It would have been tough for both people to fit into that vent. No one entered or left the... It would have been tough for both people to fit into that vent. They would likely have bumped into Linny as well. Halsey's clothing was in the tunnel.
What's wrong, Traveler? Are you still having...
Look, since we're at a dead end, why not just like the trick as it transpired?
If only we knew how Halsey disappeared.
Well, that would be nice, but the tunnel only has 3 exits, and none of them seem very likely. And it's not like this is a magic trick where you can just make a real live person disappear. You know, like you did from that water...
Excuse my interruption, dear opponents, but do you not see that the crowd is growing impatient? There is no greater...
If the defense is unable to make further effective arguments, we will move on to the next stage of the trial.
Lenny was not in the tunnel at that moment, which gave our criminal ample time. The sound we heard may have come... The deceased's name is Cowell.
Cái bình nước đúng
The
không?
vase was not broken by chance. It was used to...
Oh, Paimon gets it! It all comes together if Halsey disappeared instead of being kidnapped. Lynette escaped from the water tank, vanishing gradually, and if there's a similar method...
Just a moment, please. I do hope you know, how could a person ever be transformed into water? This is reality we're talking about here. Must we really? I should think that of anyone. Your friend magic tricks are ultimately just illusions and misdirection.
Even so, I trust the traveler's judgment. The truth must be out there somewhere. Perhaps some new line of reasoning may open if we try to gather all the focal points that don't... Since Cal was the deceased, we haven't placed much attention on him. But given that we aren't making much progress with the case, it wouldn't hurt to have a look at his belongings, would it?
People really do come up with all sorts of harebrained schemes when at the end of their rope.
Nevertheless, I believe that this is a reasonable request on the part of an attorney. Since the trial does indeed appear to be at an impasse, guards, please step into the lounge and examine.
Vậy là thằng nó phá thân thành.
We are still examining the items, but we have already made critical progress that we feel must be shared with everyone post-haste. We discovered several test tubes of fluid within Cowell's baggage, each labeled separately. The notebook in his backpack claims that these fluids are... water, the primordial seed. The note's contents also indicate that Cowell belonged to an organization that sells illegal drugs and that he had an accomplice. The notebook has many entries concerning safe usage of these fluids, in which the keyword dissolve appears many times. One of these tubes was labeled Opera Epiclese, along with yesterday's date. It is empty. The notes also state that these dissolution properties work exclusively on people from Fontaine. It's likely that Halsey was chosen as some sort of test subject. As such, we believe that the defense's hypothesis is, in fact...
You've got to be kidding! People dissolving into water?
Could something so ridiculous actually be true?
Wait a moment. This reminds me of a certain prophecy, but it's just...
If people can become water, does that mean that the water tank's real use was as a means to hide water stains? And if Cowell was targeting that girl... Just a minute. Could that mean... You...
Demoiselle, wait! What about your partners?
Let's go. Just trust me.
Order! Order! It is undeniable that further examination of the deceased... Still, let us assume that these clues are indeed authentic, albeit with the understanding that Ms. Halsey has yet to be found. Guards, please continue examining the items along. Mr. Linney, it appears your hypothesis is supported by the evidence.
Of course. If we uphold this hypothesis, I believe that many of this case's seemingly unrelated clues can be connected.
Right! Like the metal hook! That one did... Let's think about this. Cowell's methods must have something to do with that...
The deceased's name is Cowell.
Hung thủ đấy dùng đạo cụ gì nào?
The water from the primordial sea should already have been prepped before Halsey entered the magic box.
Hung thủ đã dùng đạo cụ gì để khống chế thời gian xảy ra việc hình tan.
Now it seems like the hook rope was not meant for another magic trick, but was instead some form of triggering mechanism. Lynette was in the magic box on stage the entire time. Did she have something to do with this? I remember there was something else within the inner layer of that box. Lynette was in the magic box on...
Hung thủ đã dùng đạo cụ gì để làm Ashley hòa
The
tan
water
con
from
này.
the primordial.
Hung thủ đã dùng.
Now
hiểu
it
thế bị
seems like the hook. Now it seems like the hook rope. I remember there was something else within the inner layer of that box.
Đấy rồi. Hiểu rồi.
Ahem. It's Ace Detective Punt. In the original plan, Cowl would tamper with the water tank rope and the number selector securing his target. When the magic box containing Halsey was lowered, the metal hook would retract gradually and pierce the balloon at the top of the box. When the balloon attached to the box popped, the water from the primordial seed inside it would pour down and dissolve Halsey. Afterward, Cowl would enter the tunnel and break the flower vase to conceal the water inside the tunnel, with the remaining evidence being covered up by the water tank on stage. But he encountered something unexpected in the tunnel, and wound up being fatally hit by the same water tank he meant to use to cover his tracks.
Huh. That does make sense.
That actually links together a lot of the more confusing pieces of evidence.
Oh dear, what do I do? Even I think they sound convincing now.
Now, it seems like the only point of contention remaining is the exact circumstances that led... His notes mentioned he had an accomplice who could be related to the situation.
On that note, the guards have just contacted me indicating that I shall now invite him on stage to share it with us.
Thank you, Your Honor. We were just inspecting the luggage of the other people involved in this, and we found an identical sample of the water from the primordial sea among Linny's personal effects.
What?
That can't be. Oh, I see. Well, how wonderfully comedic to have your own counterattack. Does this not clear all doubt? My dear citizens, my loyal audience, allow me to present my... Linny did not need to take part in the dissolution of the young woman at all. Indeed, he did leave the scene via the vent. Having made modifications to the props beforehand, his accomplice Cowl then caused Halsey to vanish using the water from the primordial sea. But upon his return, in cruel avarice, Linny desired sole credit and prepared to do away with his partner, and ultimately, he knocked Cowl out, and the tool meant to cover the crime up also became a murder weapon. Now, as much as I regret having come to such a viciously straightforward conclusion, am I right, Mr. Linny?
We've used up all the evidence we collected. Is this the end of the road?
Oh no! I'm unkillable. Seems using the water as new evidence was too good a move.
I think we've all seen enough now. And we have, I believe, this is indeed the... Now then, my good, noble Chief Justice.
Excuse me, everyone, but I must interject.
Miss, I must ask you not to shout.
Oh, come on. Don't be hasty. I have a good reason for interrupting, you know. Now, would anyone here... I'll show you an amazing trick. One that can bring a young woman who has disappeared back in the flesh. Right before... What in the...
No offense, miss, but miracles like that are beyond my scope as a magician.
Come on now, don't be silly. Magic is all about misdirection, isn't it? It often conceals the truth while presenting a fascinating illusion. But once everyone believes the illusion, can't magic reveal the truth to them once again?
And wouldn't such a trick be the most marvelous finale to today's performance? Come on, Lenny and Lynette. Give it another go. Don't worry. Spina di Rasula has made the next spot as the magic makers and stars of the show. I think I should leave the final performance to you.
I understand.
And voila. Sorry for the interruption.
Wait, isn't that Halsey? So,
To be clear, I'm only here because this person told me that if I testified, the merit of doing so would lessen my sentence.
Chính là người này nói tôi, nếu trước đi tôi có thể để công chuộc tội cho bớt tội danh thì tôi mới
I
làm.
was hiding outside this room listening to the proceedings because I was afraid that I would be the one put on trial. I was just feeling happy that no one had noticed me. And then, before I knew it, she caught me.
That'll teach you to underestimate us three.
Where should I begin? I'm sorry.
What?
Firstly, my name isn't Halsey. It's Lillian. And I'm originally from I heard that Linny's show was gonna be a real thriller, but I missed the chance to buy a ticket, so I stole one. That's how I make a living. I steal stuff here and there. And I'd never been caught before. But I was noticed at the harbor a few days ago, and I barely got away. Lenny was the one who caught me in the act.
Hey, no wonder you look familiar. Liddy even mentioned that you were pretty skilled.
Well, and I thought that would have been the end of it, but then the number selector chose me. He even mentioned the Fortress of Meripede. That's a prison, isn't it? So you can imagine how shocked I was. I thought he was onto me So I played along with the show while looking for an opening to flee. But then I got water poured on me for no reason, and then someone jumped into the tunnel to nab me. I wasn't going to take that lying down, so I knocked him out and stuffed him into the box. There was nowhere to run from there, though, so I had to change my clothes and hide in a box containing performance costume. I slipped out after the first guard arrived at the scene and continued hiding inside the opera house.
Can a person even hide in there?
But I swear, I didn't know that the water tank would fall down. Had I known that, I wouldn't have put him in the magic box.
Well, that makes everything pretty clear now, doesn't it?
This time, we need to tell the entire story from Lillian's...
Ủa, ta cô ấy đã dùng đạo cụ ảo thuật trước đó. Nếu Hasi hoàn toàn lành lặn xuất hiện trước mặt Ken. Khó nha. có chứng thực chuyện xảy ra trong đời không? Mẹ khó quá. Đúng là khó vậy ta. Cô quay đã dùng đạo cụ ảo thật.
The strange sound wasn't from a fight. It was Lily-Ann's attempt to break out when she was frightened.
Mình là sao vậy? Đây. Nếu Alice là hoàn toàn lành lặn xuất hiện trước mặt khán giả.
Lily-Ann was afraid that she would be recognized if she left, so she changed clothes and hid, biding her time. The flower vase was not broken.
And it's Ace Detective! Having been selected out of the blue, Lily-Ann panicked. Her panic only intensified after she entered the tunnel and had water poured on her head. So she kicked the door open, producing the thud we all heard.
Đột nhiên bị dội nước vào đầu. Chạy.
Hearing the commotion, Cowell leapt into the tunnel, only to discover that Lily-Ann had not dissolved. He did not know that Lily-Ann was not from Fontaine, but was a thief who made her way, mistakenly believing that the water from the primordial sea needed time to take effect. The two broke the flower vase during the struggle, but Lily-Ann came out on top, knocking Cowell out and putting him in the box. With no way of escaping, she changed her clothes and hid in the costume trunk until the performance ended.
Wow. Tôi đã được thất bại.
She knew that she would have to go through guard inspection if she tried to leave afterward. So, she has been trapped in the opera house these last 2 days.
She had already become desperately hungry by the time we were chatting over macarons. So, she swiped 2 of them right under our noses. Talk about a sneak.
At this point, all the events that happened in the tunnel have...
So bravo!
Now then, Lady Farina, do you wish to speak against... Please answer the question, Lady Farina. Also, if I may add, the trial has not yet ended. As such, I request that the prosecution not...
What? Are you reading my mind now? No. I have no further arguments. I admit defeat. But really, could you at least have left me with some dignity?
Wow. Look at that. She's like a
Ông
deflated
biết gì hả?
balloon now?
If there are no objections, then as the Chief Justice of Fontaine, I shall once again repeat the full sequence of events. The actual perpetrator of the serial disappearances, Cowell, selected his next victim from the audience reservation list. With some modifications to the selector, he could ensure that the pre-selected young woman would be chosen. To cover up any evidence while committing the deed, Cowell thought of allowing the water tank to fall, which would conceal the water left behind after the young woman was dissolved. He also tampered with the rope suspending the water tank, using the fireworks at the end of the performance to cause the tank to drop. He poured the water from the primordial sea into a balloon during the preparation of the magic box, and stuck it to the box's lid. Finally, he passed the prepared hook on a rope through the gap in the magic box's door when bringing the young woman to said box.
Cuối cùng cô qua được thế rồi đâu, anh ta đã nhét dây móc để.
When the magic trick officially began, the box containing the woman was lowered into the tunnel, tightening the hook rope and bursting the balloon containing the water. If all had gone to plan, the young woman would be dissolved at this time. However, Lillian was not from Fontaine, and thus fled the box with a loud noise. Realizing that there was trouble, Cowell entered the tunnel and met Lillian. Thinking that the waters had not yet taken effect, he decided. However, his opponent was more capable than he thought, and he was overcome, knocked unconscious, and placed into the magic. Lillian, according to her own statements, then changed clothes and hid until the performance ended, before hiding in other parts of the opera house. As for Linny, he was in the underground structures within the opera house, and was thus ignorant of these happenings. From this reconstruction of events, we can conclude... While there is much in Linny and Lillian's conduct that should still be investigated, this case, at least, can be handed over to the Oratrice to make the... As such, Linny and Lynette are officially...
Great work. Thank you all. Thank you so much.
Next, I think we deserve an explanation, Gar. How did you find the water from the...
Right! Your discovery caused me to make a serious mistake, you know.
I suspect that the accomplice mentioned in Cowell's notes was not Linny, but you, yes? I'm sure you know what you must do to lessen your sentence.
Speak quickly! Unless you want to earn yourself a one-win...
I was just following orders. We were supposed to place blame for the serial disappearances onto Linny, and thus cause suspicion to fall on the Fatui. The higher-ups said this was the best opportunity to do so.
And now that your plan has fallen through, and the secrets of the water have been revealed, you have become a liability to said higher-ups, yes? Therefore, you would be wise to tell everything you know, and...
Yes! Our boss discovered that the water can cause people to dissolve. It can also be made into a potion, which when extremely diluted, can cause people to experience unforgettable exhilaration. We've been in this business for a while now, and have made decent more off it. The disappearances were also the boss's idea. I mean, this is the boss we're talking about. The...
And now he can no longer
Such ruthlessness.
An outrageous... All present, please submit to inspection immediately.
Ây da, đủ mấy đứa nào mà đáng sợ vậy ta? Oh.
So, we're just going back now? That's true.
Traveler, Paimon, please wait.
Linny.
I know you may not want to speak to me right now. Maybe you don't even want to look at me. But still, let me thank you again for defending me to the end, even after you learned that I'm a member of the Fatui. I guess. But regardless, I'd like the opportunity to set things straight. I didn't approach you with any ulterior motives or ill intent. I've spoken to you as myself, just plain Linny this entire time. As for why I'm a Fatus, it's because the goals of the House of the Hearth align with those of an orphan like me. That's all. That was how Father, who you might know as the Knave, approached recruiting us back then too.
The Knave? The one who controls the House of the Hearth? She's your father?
Alexino chính là cha.
That's right. And since we're here, I was wondering, would you mind hearing a story? It's about my past. Back when our parents first died, Lynette and I were left wandering the streets. To survive, I took to surreptitiously observing an older street performer who did magic. It took me several days to figure out how he pulled off his amazing tricks. I took my sister through several streets until we found a crowded corner, and we began to perform magic. To my surprise, we proved to be pretty popular, and we could at least stop worrying about where our next meal would come from for a time. But I didn't want my sister to remain a street rat together with me forever. Before long, an aristocrat came to me and claimed that he wished to take us in after watching my performances.
So you went from orphans to nobility just like that?
That was how we felt at first too. As if fate was on our side and we could but I gradually discovered that while we were called foster children, he was really after my talent for magic tricks. He would constantly take me to all sorts of banquets to garner attention, which he would then use to expand his social circles.
That doesn't seem too bad either. Better than roaming the streets at any rate.
It took a while for me to realize just how dark his heart really was. After one particular performance at a banquet, I discovered that Lynette was not on the same return vehicle as me. I waited a long time after we returned home, but she did not come back. I went to that noble's bedroom and asked him about her whereabouts. The answer he gave me was, she caught the eye of the most eminent person at the banquet, so I sent her over as a gift. I mean, you'll be able to perform your magic regardless of who you're...
Oh no. But wouldn't Fontaine's laws deal with such people?
As far as outsiders are concerned, this is a relationship akin to adoption or foster care. And I managed to ferret out the location of the mansion of that so-called eminent person and hurried through the night. But all I saw was the moonlit ground covered in blood. And the Knave standing there in the darkness.
So, she'd already taken care of that guy.
That's right. She had rescued my sister before she could come to any harm, and had even discovered several girls hidden in a basement, all of them orphans. Father, I mean the Knave, might have seen something in me, and so she made me an offer. The House of the Hearth welcomes you, for your interests align with ours. Here, none will ever betray you. I was hesitant to trust her. I mean, I had just been betrayed by nobles. But she was also quick to destroy the noble who had taken us in at first, giving us back our freedom.
Oh, so that's how the two of you joined the House of the Hearth.
She has her own plans. She has gained permission from the Tsaritsa to first use the Gnosis' power once she obtains it. She plans to use it to find a way to break the prophecy and save Fontaine.
So, she believes in that prophecy too?
That's right. The whole House of the Hearth is currently working to combat that crisis. Today's case has also proven that people from Fontaine can indeed dissolve into some sort of water, thus further supporting the prophet. All of us house members here, Lady Arlecchino herself included, are from Fontaine. We won't give up on defending our homeland. To us orphans, the only connection we have left to this world, apart from our family, is our homeland.
So, from small deeds like distributing magic pockets to huge schemes like stealing a Gnosis, everything is aimed at dealing with that prophecy.
Mỗi lần có một câu chuyện mới là kiểu Gnostic bắt buộc phải bị mất vậy ta.
It's alright. I understand. I just hope you can understand that even as a member of the house, I have never stopped making my own decisions, and that I believe what I'm doing is right. If you should need anything at all in the future, feel free to find me.
Câu chuyện dài quá nhưng mà hay. Câu chuyện hôm nay hay à.
Bye, Winnie.
Chuyện hay quá. Chiro cũng là người của Forte.
Hey there. What was with the disappearing act you pulled right as the trial ended?
Were you looking for us, Navia?
Well, this whole thing isn't exactly over, is it? I do feel that we're getting closer to solving the serial disappearances case, though. Huh? What's wrong, my dear partner?
Besides, are you sure we're the ones who can crack a case that's been cold for decades now? And given that there's new evidence from the trial, there should be a trail of breadcrumbs for the Hydro Archon's people to follow now.
Ah, I see. Well, I won't lie. I'm a little shocked to hear that from you. But I suppose you are just travelers who have only arrived in Fontaine after all.
Má đến Fontaine chưa kịp làm gì, chưa mở dịch
Sorry.
chuyện mà cứ vô
I might
là
have been too presumptuous.
đi phá án.
Don't say that, Navia.
Oh, and we were having so much fun investigating with you, too. It was like having new waters flowing into a stagnant mire, causing new hope to spring forth, and the... sorry about that. I'm a bit prone to nostalgia. Wait, shall we have a farewell meal? You know, to commemorate our time as partners?
Huh? Do we really need to get that formal? Well, guess you really did treat us as partners, huh?
Well, I'd just like to have a proper ending to every important memory. That way there are no regrets later. Anyway, it would just be a meal, so it shouldn't take up too much of your time.
You don't have to twist Paimon's arm. If Boss Navia's treating, give Paimon...
Oh, wonderful. In that case, why don't we return to the Court of Fontaine and head to the Hotel de Bourg?
All right then, let's have our farewell meal.
Là hết rồi đúng không? À, chưa hết à? Còn. Ok, tao nghĩ tới đây là xong rồi đó. Đỡ được một cái rồi. Cái gì đó? Chưa mở dịch chuyển, chưa làm cái gì, chưa chạy nhiệm vụ, chưa một cái gì luôn. Có chuyện dài thật sự á. Rồi chị là người tốt hay... Tua hả? À, cái con vừa rồi nói chuyện là người tốt. Để tóm tắt cho là cái khúc mà đi coi biểu diễn của của con Lilay với con Lilet á, thì nó biểu diễn một cái trò thật là hoán đổi vị trí, là từ một vị trí A đến một vị trí B, là nó sẽ mời một người ở trên khán đài bất kỳ, nhưng mà thật sự là cái máy mà bốc vé khán đài á là luôn luôn là chỉ là một chỗ, luôn luôn chỉ là cái ghế đó, xong rồi bốc ra một người, xong rồi một người vô điểm A, còn thằng Lilay á, thằng con trai Lilay vô điểm B, xong rồi cuối cùng tiết mục là sau 60 giây là 1 phút á là sẽ chuyển đổi từ điểm A vô điểm B, thì mọi chuyện sẽ không có gì. Thì thằng Lilay là đúng là đi qua điểm A rồi, còn cái đứa con gái mà được bốc á thì đáng ra nó phải đi qua điểm B, nhưng mà không may sao thì cái khúc mà có một cái trụ nước ở trên á, cái trụ nước ở trên rơi xuống làm bể mất rơi xuống từ trên trời rơi trên trần rơi xuống làm bể mất cái hòm A luôn. Thế nên là cái người ở trong đó bị đè chết. Tại sao có cái trụ nước trên đó là bởi vì là cái tiết mục đầu tiên á, cái tiết mục đầu tiên, tạo thuật đầu tiên đó là tiết mục liên quan đến hơi bể nước. Nói chung là sơ là tiết mục bể nước đó làm cho con Lilay làm cho con em gái á, nó có thể chui ra khỏi cái bể nước đó, nên đại loại nên mới có cái bể nước ở trên đó mới rơi xuống. Thì người chết ở trong á, cái người bị chết ở trong á không phải là đứa con gái mà được bóc, mà lại là cái thằng trợ lý của con Linay, cái trợ lý con Linay, con 5 sao á, Linay với Linet, mấy khó đọc quá. Đó thì mọi người mới kiểu tại sao lại thằng nó chết mà không phải là con kia chết, không phải là đứa con gái trong khán đài chết. Với lại là sau khi xong rồi mọi người mới điều tra thì hóa ra là cái trụ nước ở trên rơi xuống là bởi vì là lúc mà chuẩn bị kết thúc khán đài á, thì mới bắn pháo hoa để cho mở cái cửa ra, thì bắn pháo hoa, cái tia pháo hoa nó đã rơi trúng vào cái sợi dây treo cái bể nước, thế là bể nước rơi xuống, đó là nguyên nhân đến cháy cái sợi dây. Xong rồi đến lúc đó thì con thủy thần nó mới kết tội cái thằng quỷ Linay với con em Linet là hai đứa là thủ phạm gây giết người ở bala. Xong rồi ông thẩm phán ông mới nói là vậy đó là một lời buộc tội đúng không, thì với cái tính kiêu ngạo với lại ấy thì con nó lỡ nói ra rồi, nên là nó kêu là nó lỡ nói vậy rồi nên là coi như là lời buộc tội, nên nó sẽ phải là thi hành án. Là sau mình nhận đứng ra làm người bào chữa cho con đấy, cho hai đứa em là Linay với Linet. Xong rồi vô bào chữa thì đi tìm manh mối cách chữa kiểu vô bào chữa cuối cùng mà mình thắng kiện. Nhưng mà cái khúc thắng mới hay là bởi vì là cái vụ án má giờ sao nói ta, cái vụ án hay á là cái vụ kiện đúng không, thì mới đầu con thủy thần vô kêu là lúc mà con Linay với Linet cái màn ảo thuật đi đổi từ điểm A qua điểm B á, đúng quá khó nói nha, cái điều A giờ phải nghe kỹ nha. Cái màn ảo thuật đó là con Linay với Linet nó có sâu cái chích để làm sao để đổi hai căn phòng nó đổi qua cho nhau, là ở dưới ngầm á có một cái phòng kiểu có một cái tầng hầm để đi qua hai điểm, hiểu không? Thì làm sao mà để cho cái người khán giả đi vô á, mà người ta không phải di chuyển mà người ta vẫn ở trong cái hầm đó, thì thật sự ở trong đó có một cái phòng đó, xong rồi ở trong cái phòng đó lại có một cái hộp để rút xuống được, là một cái hộp rỗng á, hiểu không? Thì rút xuống được cái hộp ở ngoài, cái vỏ ở ngoài vẫn là vỏ rỗng, nên mọi người vẫn nghĩ là trong đó vẫn sẽ có người. Đó, thế nên là cái điểm B của cái đứa con gái mà bị bóc á, nó vẫn sẽ bị rút xuống và sẽ bị dịch chuyển đẩy qua bằng xe đẩy, xong rồi điêu lên, nên là con nó sẽ không biết gì trong đó cả. Còn thằng Linay á, đơn giản nó sẽ chỉ đi bộ xuống cầu thang rồi đi qua rồi đi lên là nó sẽ đổi được dịch chuyển, đó là cái chích. Nhưng mà thật sự á, thì bởi vì Linay với Linet á, nói một hồi á, Linay với Linet là pha tui, nhưng mà xong rồi cuối cùng mình lại không tin tụi pha tui, đúng không? Sao pha tui là bởi vì là con thủy thần nó nói luôn, nó biết được hai đứa đó là Linay và Linet là pha tui, nên là cán cân nó nghiêng về fan, lúc đó là bị nghiêng về cho bên con thủy thần. Xong rồi mình lúc đó mình giận, kiểu con nhà là hành nó giận, nó với nó kiểu hai đứa đó đầu tiên không nói cho tụi mình biết là hai đứa đó là pha tui, nên là khó chịu. Xong rồi mới vô nói thì Linay với Linet mới nói là tụi nó là pha tui nhưng mà tụi nó không phải là người xấu, mà tụi nó đến đây để tụi nó tìm hiểu nguyên nhân làm sao cái cán cân ở trên phiên tòa làm sao nó có thể tự hoạt động được và nó tự xác minh được đâu là đúng đâu là sai, và nó sẽ đưa ra được phán quyết đó. Xong rồi nên vì vậy á, là tụi nó mới thiết kế ra cái trò ảo thuật là hoán đổi, là trong lúc 1 phút hoán đổi á, thì ở dưới cái căn hầm đó nó có một cái ống thông gió để đi xuống một cái hầm bí ẩn ở dưới của Fontaine, để tụi nó điều tra được cái máy đó nó hoạt động như thế nào, bởi vì nó rất là nghi ngờ. Mà tụi nó kêu là ở dưới cái phòng đó thì hầu như sẽ không có ai ra vào cả, bởi vì lúc mà coi biểu diễn đó thì mọi người đã ở trên coi rồi và lính gác sẽ ở trên hết, nên sẽ không có ai dưới đó. Nên là lúc mà trong 1 phút di chuyển đó thì nó sẽ chỉ cần 15 giây để đi bộ qua thôi, nên là trong tổng số giây còn lại nó sẽ đi xuống căn hầm đó để nó điều tra. Nhưng mà không may thì lúc trong đi xuống căn hầm á điều tra thì lỡ có người bắt gặp mà nó không biết người đó là ai cả, mà người đó liên tục gọi tên Linay. Thế là thằng nó sợ quá, nó chạy lên bỏ lên lại, và cái lúc mà nó lên lại á thì nó thấy có bộ quần áo của cái con mà hoán đổi ấy, cái con này bị hoán đổi, con trên khán giả bị hoán đổi, nó theo bộ quần áo bị cởi ra với một chậu nước bị bể. Nhưng mà bởi vì lúc đó chỉ còn 10 mấy giây để đi lên thôi, nó phải đi lên liền. Xong rồi lúc mà vừa đi lên đó thì là cái chỗ nó rớt xuống bùm cái là cái thằng trợ lý nó chết mất rồi. Đó là mọi chuyện nó kể lại. Xong rồi mình mới phán, xong rồi đi ra lúc mà biết là pha tui á, xong mình phải quay lại phiên tòa để mình tiếp tục cái phiên tòa đó, thì mình dùng những cái dữ kiện của mình để phản bác lại cái con thủy thần. Thì phản bác lại ok là nhờ những cái dữ kiện mà Lina không hề ở trong hầm, hoặc là không nằm trong vụ án đó, ba la. Xong rồi giờ phải suy đoán ai là hung thủ, bởi vì là nếu mà Lina cũng không phải là hung thủ, vậy ai là người đã làm cho cái con đó biến mất, bởi vì là cái thằng chết là cái thằng trợ lý, mà cái con nó lại không thấy đâu, hiểu không? Đó, xong rồi suy đoán một hồi á thì mới biết được là cái thằng hung thủ chính là cái thằng bị chết. Đó, giờ hai góc này nè, hai góc là cái thằng hung thủ chính là cái con bị là thằng hung thủ chính là cái thằng bị chết đó. Thì kiểu mình suy luận lúc đầu mình sẽ không suy luận ra là hung thủ sẽ là ai, bởi vì là thằng nó sẽ bị chết rồi, vậy con nó rốt cuộc đi đâu? Thì nhà lữ hành mới đề nghị là bây giờ cái thằng hung thủ chính là thằng chết rồi, thì bây giờ mình đi lục cái hành lý của cái thằng chết đó, thằng hung thủ á, là lục hành lý của nó, trong đó nó có cái gì. Thì trong phim thẩm phán mới đồng ý, cái ông thẩm phán tên mẹ gì quên rồi đó, ông thẩm phán kêu là bây giờ đi lục hành lý phần đó. Thì lục hành lý có được 3 cái ống nghiệm, thì tao cũng quên mất là 3 ống nghiệm đó có 2 ống nghiệm là cái gì, nhưng mà có một ống nghiệm nó liên quan đều là về gọi cái tên gọi là ống nước gì á. Có coi được lại không ta? Không biết có coi được lại hồi gì, có coi được lại cái nhiệm vụ không ta? Chắc không à. Coi lại không? Để ta coi. Cái ống nghiệm nó tên là, bây giờ nó dài lắm, thấy không? Mày thấy dài không? Đây, tự chạy nè. Để tao coi cái ống nghiệm đó, chứ không nói hồi nó sẽ bị rối á. Nói hồi sẽ bị rối á. Cái ống nghiệm nó tên là cái quần què gì. Paimon. Ủa má dài quá. Nói thật là dài quá nhưng mà hay. Má có khúc cái nhắc đến ống nghiệm nhiều lắm ta. Rồi ta. Đây nè, hai gọi là pha tu nè, vậy là qua rồi. À, nước biển khởi nguyên. Cái ống nghiệm mà để dùng á là nước biển khởi nguyên. Có 3 ống nghiệm thì có một ống biển đây là nước biển khởi nguyên đó. Thì mục đích cái nước biển khởi nguyên đó là để làm hòa tan được người, mà người đó phải là người của Fontaine. Đó, người đó thì người đó phải là người của Fontaine. Thế nên là cái thằng Coway á mới lập ra một cái là nó pick sẵn cái con ngồi vị trí đó, nên là cái máy bốc số nó luôn luôn là ở vị trí đó, là bởi vì thằng nó thiết lập. Và bởi vì tại sao mà luôn luôn biết người đó là phụ nữ, vì tại cái vụ án mà người phụ nữ mất tích á, thiếu nữ mất tích á, là phải là phụ nữ, nên là bởi vì nó nắm được cái danh sách mà trước khi coi á, mà nhớ mà phải đăng ký trước, nên là thằng Coway á, cái thằng phụ tá của thằng Linay á, nó mới biết được là thằng người đó là người phụ nữ và người đó là người của Fontaine, nên nó luôn luôn làm cho cái máy đó chọn luôn đúng vào cái vị trí đó, chứ không phải là con Linay nó làm. Xong rồi nó sẽ đặt ở trên, có lúc mà đi vô biểu diễn á, thì cái phòng A của cái người khách á, của cái khán giả, phòng A của người dành cho khán giả là nó có những cái bong bóng ở trên, thì thật sự ở trong đó là nó chứa được cái nước biển khởi nguyên ở trên đó, là sẽ làm hòa tan cái người đứng ở trong đó đi, và nó đeo mà có nó ở trong đó sẽ một. Và khi mà cái sợi, mày biết là khi mà ở trong cái phòng đúng không, nó sẽ vài cái phòng, có hai cái phòng, một phòng ở ngoài lớp ngoài, một phòng ở lớp trong. Thì nó phòng lớp trong khi mà bắt đầu đếm á, thì cái phòng đó nó sẽ dịch xuống, thì nó sẽ cài một cái sợi dây, có một cái móc 3 tia á, cái móc 3 như kiểu cái đồ gì ta, như kiểu cái gì thả xuống thì là cái mỏ neo á, nó như cái mỏ neo của thuyền vậy á, nó chia ra 3 cục. Thì khi mà cái sợi dây nó dịch xuống á, là cái móc đó nó sẽ siết vào cái quả bóng, và quả bóng nó sẽ bể ra, là cái nước nó sẽ rơi vào cái đầu của cái con đứng ở trong đấy, là con nó sẽ bị biến thành hòa tan thành nước. Thì kế hoạch của nó là vậy, và khi mà đi ra khỏi cái phòng và đi di chuyển lên á, là cái bể nước nó rớt vào, đúng không? Cái bể nước rớt đùng xuống là coi như là bể nước vừa có nước của thằng đó về hòa tan, và vừa có nước biển của cái trụ bung tăng đó, là coi như nó sẽ bị hòa tan và sẽ không để lại chứng cứ, là con nó sẽ biến mất, và tất cả mọi thứ sẽ đổ dồn vào thằng Linay và Lynette là người phụ phạm, là coi như xong, bởi vì làm cho nó biến mất và nó chết mất đó. Nhưng mà kế hoạch không đúng là bởi vì là cái con khán giả được chọn á là con ở bên Mondstadt. Con đó bởi vì là nó muốn đi, nói chung là bởi vì nó đi cướp vé của người khác, là con đầu tiên mà một lúc mình gặp á, con trộm á, nó đi cướp vé của người khác, nó đi vào và may thay là đi cướp vé của đúng cái người đó. Đó nên là Mondstadt, nên là lúc mà nó bị bể nước vào đầu á, nó sợ quá nên mới đập cửa ra, nên là mọi người mới đều nghe thấy được cái tiếng đập cửa ở lúc mà đang trong khán đài á. Một lúc mà đang trong biểu diễn nó mới đập tiếng đập cửa, thì cái thằng bị chết á, cái thằng hung thủ á mới thấy, lúc đó nghe thấy tiếng bị đập cửa ra. Lúc đó nó nghe tiếng đập cửa ra thì nó mới hoảng quá là tại sao là con nó chưa bị biến thành nước mà lại vẫn còn sống. Thế nên chạy xuống cái căn hầm đó, chạy xuống căn hầm để xem là tại sao con nó còn sống, thì thấy con nó đi ra thì thằng nó mới tưởng là cái thuốc đó phải có một thời gian mới có tác dụng, mới không có tác dụng liền, nên là hai đứa giằng co nhau, thì giằng co nhau nên mới có tiếng giằng co, rồi bị bể cái bình nước ở dưới đó. Xong rồi mà giằng co một hồi thì cái đứa khán giả, đứa con gái á, nó lại làm nó lại làm cho thằng nó bất tỉnh, thì con này sợ quá nên mới nhét cái thằng đó vào lại trong cái thùng đó, cái hòm dịch chuyển á, cái hòm dịch chuyển được cái phòng á, bòi nó nhét vô lại. Thế nên là xong rồi nó sợ quá thì nó mới cởi cái áo của nó ra và nó sẽ mặc một bộ diễn, vì tại ở dưới trong cái hòm đó nó sẽ có đồ diễn á, mà là đồ diễn rồi nó sẽ chui vô cái tủ đồ, không phải cái tủ mà cái hòm đồ biểu diễn của người biểu diễn. Có một cái hòm khác nha, hai hòm nha, một là hòm đồ chứa người để dịch chuyển, và một hòm đồ chứa toàn đồ biểu diễn của ảo thuật gia, nên nó chui vào trong đấy, nó nấp rồi. Thế nên là khi mà dịch chuyển nó lại, đó là lý do tại sao mà thằng hung thủ chính là nạn nhân đó, nó dịch chuyển lên cái đùng là thằng nó chết luôn đó. Đó hết rồi. Xong cuối cùng là Linay với Lynette vô tội, nhưng mà Fontaine sẽ điều tra thêm là tại sao Linay lại đi lẻn vào trong cái mật thất của Fontaine. Tôi nghĩ chắc sẽ có điều tra thêm á. Nói chung là phải có căn cứ á, xong rồi mình phải đi tìm chứng cứ, rồi đi tìm vật chứng cứ, xong rồi mình phải phản bác lại cho con thủy thần, đâu có con thủy thần nó thua. Xong cuối cùng hai đứa được bình an. Nói chung là dài á, nếu mà mẹ viết thành thì cốt truyện, giờ ta thấy là mẹ giải thích vậy nó dài rồi, nên cuối cùng là rồi xong rồi mà thấy, nhưng mà nhớ có một thằng đậu phạm không, là cái thằng nó lại kêu là cái nước biển khởi nguyên á lại xuất hiện trong hành lý của Linay, là bởi vì cái khúc mà mọi người sắp kiểu biết được cái thằng trộm đá là thằng hung thủ á, nên là kiểu cái thằng giúp đỡ là cái thằng lính á, nó mới kêu là tìm thấy được một cái bình nước ở trong hành lý của Linay. Xong rồi cuối cùng hóa ra mọi thứ chặt chẽ quá, thế là cuối cùng thằng đó chính là đồng phạm luôn, xong cũng bị thủ tiêu luôn đó. Và giờ không biết ai hung thủ, là người đứng sau cái đường dây mà buôn bán có loại nước này để làm cho mỗi năm bao nhiêu người thiếu nữ bị mất tích. Chắc có chuyện đó thôi, tao nghĩ là có chuyện sẽ còn nữa. Map cũng chưa chạy rồi, hết rồi. Nước biển khởi nguyên đó, hay, nói chung có chuyện hay. Thôi chúng ta đến đây thôi, ngày mai chúng ta sẽ chơi tiếp. Tao nghĩ là giờ dựa làm gì giờ ta, chắc tối tao sẽ chạy đi để tao chạy tao dùng dựa này vô trong mấy cái đột phá nè, mấy cái này thiên phú nè, phú, hoặc là không thì cùng lắm thì làm cái gì đó trước. Này là gì đây, cái này là của vũ khí, nguyên liệu vũ khí đúng không? Đúng rồi, nguyên liệu đột phá vũ khí. Đúng rồi, nước đó có thể làm thành thuốc và không biết, tao không nhớ nữa, khúc cuối không nhớ nữa. Cái không để giết người, nhưng mà để thử nghiệm là cái nước đó nếu mà sử dụng nhiều liều lượng á, có thể là cái thuốc mà làm cho người ta biến ra á, cái nước đó mà dùng đúng liều lượng á, thì không làm cho người ta biến mất, mà sẽ làm cho người ta có cảm giác hưng phấn như kiểu thuốc đó mày, chơi đá. Tao nghĩ nó giống chơi đá hơn đó. Để coi lại coi, để đọc lại coi. Khúc đó khúc cuối này chắc là gần á. Cái thằng đó là thằng đây, ở trên đó. Đây tôi sẽ khai hết chuyện được với hành tên con người là chứ. Thứ này có thể nè, thứ này thấy không? Có thể hòa tan người là do sếp chúng ta phát hiện ra thứ này có thể làm
It
thành
can
thuốc.
also be made into a potion,
Khi pha đến
which when extremely
cực loãng nha.
diluted can cause people to experience unforgettable
Thấy không? Uống vào
exhilaration.
có thể có là hưng phấn và giúp
We've
và
been
không
in
thể
this
dứt được.
business for a while
Thấy
now
không?
and have made decent more often.
Đừng có chiếu nữa coi. Đó, chúng tôi kinh doanh vụ này đó, thấy không? Thấy không? Là cái thuốc đó khi đến hòa tan đến một lượng rất là loãng thì nó thành thuốc viện như vậy á. Con quỷ con thị thần làm trò hề. Nói chung là con thị thần nó sẽ điều tra ra vụ này với mình, hoặc là nó sẽ nhìn nhận mình một cách khác để mình sẽ đi chung với nó, tao nghĩ vậy. Nhưng mà hay, câu chuyện này là hay, nhưng mà mối tội hơi dài dòng nhỉ, hơi dài dòng lúc đầu, nó dài nhưng mà hay. Mà thôi, tao nghĩ là một số đứa mà kiểu muốn skip á, chơi game này muốn skip này kia thì người ta cũng không thích, nhưng mà mình thấy hay. Chỉ là mỗi tội cái khúc đầu nó kiểu rườm rà quá, như kiểu là lúc mình phải đi lượm đồ cho con Lina với Linet, xong rồi nói chuyện với con thủy thần, những khúc đó tao nghĩ skip được, xong rồi giao đồ để làm cái vụ mà cho mọi người di chuyển đi á, cho mọi người cái túi gì á, cái mũ gì đó, xong rồi giao đồ, xong rồi gặp tao nghĩ là gặp thằng chiêu đồ sẽ để ở một chỗ khác. Còn thằng chiêu đồ thì chỗ khác, ví dụ mình vừa làm xong mình mới gặp thằng chiêu đồ, tự nhiên che thằng chiêu đồ với thằng chiêu đồ biến mất luôn. Tự nhiên thằng chiêu đồ nó bị biến mất khỏi cốt truyện luôn, như kiểu giờ mình không nhớ đến thằng chiêu đồ là ai ấy. Tao nghĩ là cái khúc này để tập trung là dụ thằng Lina với Linet thì mình cứ tập trung thôi, có thể giới thiệu là hai đứa nó là nhà ảo thuật gia tài ba sao đó, nhưng mà kiểu mới đầu nó dài quá, xong một đến một khúc mình mới vô trọng tâm á. Tao nghĩ như kiểu là game Genshin nó cố muốn làm cho cốt truyện nó dài ra nên nó phải nhét những cái đó vô á. Xong rồi gặp thằng chiêu đồ ngay ngân hàng bắt cuốc, xong rồi nó đưa cho mình vision, nhưng bây giờ chắc giờ đéo ai nhớ đến cái đoạn mà có thằng chiêu đồ luôn á. Tôi chơi xong tao không nhớ đoạn đó luôn. Tao nghĩ là nên làm xong rồi hắn gặp chiêu đồ, để như là xong cái này nè, xong rồi đi ăn uống rồi gặp chiêu đồ thì mình nghĩ nó có hay. Xong rồi sẽ hỏi nó là tại sao anh có biết được là Fatu ở đây không, như kiểu mình sẽ hỏi cái câu đó là sao anh có biết được hai đứa là Fatu hay không, rồi sao anh biết được là Alecino như thế này nè. Mong là người quen đó thì tao nghĩ nó hợp lý hơn. Thì bây giờ nhưng chiêu đồ đi trước rồi, bây giờ mình sẽ không hỏi những câu là anh có biết Lina và Linet là ở trong ấy không, ở trong Fatu hay không, hay là như thế nào đó. Hình như ta không nhớ, hình như trong banner sau có hả ta? Banner sau là chiêu đồ đi chung với lại Zhongli á, hình như vậy. Không nhớ lắm, ta không để ý. Là banner này ta sẽ skip hết. Chiêu đồ đi chung với lại Zhongli, có Zhongli. Và chắc là chiêu đồ bạn sau luôn á. Chiêu đồ đi chung với Zhongli á, chắc tao nhớ là chắc chắn là banner sau là có chiêu cho Zhongli. Đi chung với ai thì không nhớ lắm. Thôi, đến đây được rồi. Bên 5 giờ chắc mình nghỉ thôi. Mình cũng mệt rồi, mẹ cũng coi cốt truyện mệt luôn á. Được một roll. Bộ chứ đâu Vincent thì không có ảnh hưởng đến với cốt truyện. Nhưng mà kiểu nó bị lu mờ ấy, hiểu không? Cái biết mình sẽ biết là chiêu đồ không được dùng Vincent Thủy, nhưng mà kiểu mình đang tập trung vào Lina và Linet và cái vụ án này nên cái khúc trước đó là kiểu mình không quan tâm được á. Mình nghĩ nó không nên nhét như vậy nó kiểu nó bị cho người chơi bị quên á. Nhiều đứa skip người ta sẽ không nhớ đâu, mà nhiều đứa còn chơi skip nữa nó không nhớ ở đâu, nó còn chẳng chút có gì không hay. Đi không bạn, đi không? Mấy giờ bạn đi? Chắc mình đi á, đi chứ. Đi chụp mình ao game đi chứ. Bạn đi thì mình đi chung luôn nè, đi chung luôn. Đang soát mẻ rồi. Cái này đang làm mà chạy qua rồi mấy giờ bạn qua để mình canh. 6 giờ bạn qua chắc tầm Tầm 6 rưỡi hả? Vậy 6 rưỡi mình qua, và 6 rưỡi bắt đầu đi. Biên không giải quyết phòng hả? Để hỏi Biên đi. Để mình tắt livestream cái nhắn bằng Zalo nha. Tắt livestream ấy.